are streaming, and or at least I'm trying. Okay, let's go to YouTube and see if we're live. See if we connect. And praise God, we've connected. And let's try and start the call. That's the next thing that I do. Oh my God. So now we go to infinite call, and now we press the meet now button. Good God. All right. So then everybody gets to hear the ring. Everybody gets to hear me think out loud. Oh, Jesus. Okay. As soon as somebody answers, that'll help me immensely.
Hello.
Oh, hello, my main man, Aristides. Goddess bless you for being you and for being here. So, my dear man, how do you feel about doing the blur?
I feel pretty good, I think.
Good, good. Let's do that, and we'll get rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, and definitely want to catch up with you privately, just give you an update on everything as it's going along later. But let's take a small look at our calendar later. In the meantime, hey,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be
Let
here.
me
Yeah.
grab a sip of coffee first.
Sure. While you're doing
Here.
that, I
Yeah.
can just tell people I just woke up and I'm not really awake, but I just woke up
Yeah.
or reanimated. I don't really sleep. I die and reanimate, as I've told people before. So, yeah. And so I had the COVID and flu shots on Thursday of last week, had the allergy shot yesterday, which I only get once a month. And yes, it compounded the felony, and yeah, it's not. It's not fun. Anyhow, T Take Berry's here. He says, "Good evening, loud and clear, brothers. Love you dearly, T Take Berry." Oh, that reminds me. I'll go to my inbox, see if there's any notification that we're on yet, and we're going to as well go over to the channel. Let's do that. Now live. Okay, excellent. We got that notification. Let's go over to the channel. And okay, I press YouTube. There we go. And that will help. That'll bring us on. Or maybe I was supposed to do that. Didn't I have YouTube up earlier? Yes, I did. Okay, so I just reset that page. So, how's the coffee?
Good, good, good.
Good, good, excellent. And
All right.
yeah, ready to
Yeah, sure, sure. All right.
excellent.
So I will hit the click on the handy pop up that came up. We will talk about that. That gets you right to the program. That is one of the yeah, sure. One of the buttons right below the window there. That's the notification bell that does that. But first, slide over and make sure you hit the thumbs up upvote. It's very important to both to just to show your support, but also to keep the algorithm in Douglas's favor. There are downvotes placed, if you can believe that. They are not shown by YouTube. That's typical, but there are those who are trying to skew it the other way because they're jerks or whatever. And so please hit that, and that affects things like showing up in how high in search results or in suggestions in the side panel, etc. Please do that, and then please make sure you are subscribed. For me, that no longer appears under the program window, but if you go to his main channel page, it should be there, I would hope. And I'm going there now and subscribed. Check that. Even if you had before, it may have come undone through accidentally or on purpose in the treacherous world of tech and things. So make sure you're subscribed. Check that occasionally, and turn on that notification bell, the bell-shaped icon that will put a pop-up on your device. Very handy. That when the program is starting, it just pops up, and you don't have to remember anything. All you have to do is click it when it pops up, and here you are. I did the same. That's very handy. So to do these things, you do need an account. Basically, that means a Gmail account, and So most people have one. If not, easy to make one. YouTube is under Google now. So you will need to be signed in on a Gmail or Google account to do these things. Also, it won't let you do them. And once you've done that, there'll be a little settings menu up in the corner. Create a little icon or avatar for yourself. You can also create sub-channels under your account. They're under the where it says switch account, but it's not new accounts, like with a new login or anything. It's all under the same account. They're channels, really. Each one of them can do its own individual upvoting, so you could actually switch between them quite easily and place additional upvotes. I'm going to place another one now. So pretty easy to do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so you could actually create, as many channels as you wanted, but at least, throw in a couple extra upvotes, and maybe you could even upload some content onto them to share with the world. So anyway.
Bless you. Oh.
Moving along
Yes.
here.
You are. No, you did great. Your voice is wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So those are pretty easy things to do once you're logged in. Even if you're not logged in and just utterly refuse to make a Google account, you can grab the YouTube.com or similar link out of the browser bar and share that anywhere. That will remain the same after the it turns into a or what is it, uploads or whatever. Basically turns into a regular video from a live. That will be the same link. So if you grab that, share that now, record it somewhere, post it somewhere, email it to somebody, post it in a chat, whatever creative ways you have to share it. That will bring anybody to the program at any time. Also during the replay, you can right click on the computer, at least. I still haven't figured out how to do it on the phone, but I haven't tried. And what that will do will generate a timestamp for or a timestamped link, a link to the program, but at that current time. In other words, you could be listening, be a very fascinating topic being talked about. Oh my God, my friend, so-and-so has to hear this. And so you can grab the link that way by right-clicking on the window or something. Let's hope on a phone. I'm not sure how to right-click on a phone, but there's some way, I'm sure. And send a link with that timestamp, brings them right to that time. You can also, on some devices, I think you can create a clip. There'd be a button down there where it's like the upvote, share, and hey, you can try hitting share, which probably be similar to sharing the link. Clip, you can create your own clip out of the program. It's up to like a couple minutes, but at least I think it's basically like a teaser. It should link back to the main, to the original program. So, but that would be a small, its own little video to send.
Right.
Okay, so what else?
Go on. Yeah.
What else? Well, also when you're in your little settings menu, make sure that there is a setting there. Let me go back there. It says restricted mode off. That is for age-restricted content. If that is on, it means you're a child, basically, or you're logged. You have the privileges of one. So you're not. You're an adult, hopefully. If you're not, well, we're not going to tell. As long as you find the PayPal link that I'm about to put in the chat and send some of your mom or dad's money, or your money, whatever's convenient. We're joking, of course, unless you're really going to do it, then, well, we won't know. So no, don't ever do that. Always do what your what your parents say, and never do such a thing like that.
But for adults, send everything you've got.
Yeah. But if you were to do that, make sure it is to Douglas that you send the money, not anyone else. If you're going to do something naughty, make sure it's in Douglas's favor. As far as sending other people's money, and just don't tell us, because then we have the psychological burden of knowing. Okay. Or I'm sorry, I'm just stalling so I can find the link there. So there's a link. You don't have to find the link to donate. All you have to know is that he has a PayPal. His name is Douglas Dietrich. Go there, search his for his name or his handle that he has on the front thumbnail show poster. Douglas D. Dietrich there, the PayPal. If you go there and search, you should be able to find him. You see a little picture of him. Some type of snazzy getup. I don't know. Do you ever wear like normal boring clothes or? Anyway, you'll see him there. Make sure it's an Asian-looking gentleman, and send that guy money. And you don't need to, as far as I know, have a PayPal account to do that. There should be a link there just to donate or with a credit card, even if you're not signed in. So that should be possible. What else do we have? I really should have a better checklist for these things. Yeah. After the program converts to a regular video, Douglas will put a pinned comment underneath. That is different than the chat on the side. That may be in replay also, but he'll put a pinned comment underneath. His comments are enabled only after the program completes. And please upvote that as well for similar reasons, so it does not get disappeared. This is crucial information there. Please upvote any other positive comments. Please feel free to leave one of your own. Yep, I did do it the last time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. And
the text summary.
Yes. Let's see. What does it say? Yeah. So right. Yeah. So there's a title to the program. It only has so many characters where you can input that.
100 characters.
100 characters. Yeah, I know you would know. So Douglas does his best there, but he can't fit everything he needs to acknowledge there. So if you see a little asterisk, 1 or 2, that if you expand the description down below where it says more, you will see very lengthy paragraphs describing in detail the events he wishes to acknowledge at this time, and he will likely discuss on the program. So what is this about Aquino? 79th Aquino, what is it?
AQUINODy-EVEDy. In other words, his birthday eve day.
His birthday. That's right. It's the 16th.
It's the 16th. That's right. It's
16th.
The 16th. The Nuremberg hanging.
The Nuremberg hanging. Exactly. Yes. Yep. I knew that. Yep. Wow. Time flies.
It really does.
It's already Aquino Day.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Brooke looked up Aquino and found your name. Aristides Aquino is one of the best players on the Japanese baseball team, the Dragons. You can look that up. So the Japanese baseball team, the Dragons, they're one of their top players.
Let me look. It might be spelled different.
Aristides Aquino. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll look real quick.
Yes.
It's a slightly different spelling.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, phonetically, it's the same, but
yes.
I'm not going to tell you how my name is spelled.
I think everyone knows
none of your
that.
business.
I think everyone knows that.
No, I don't give that out. Anyway, yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Brooke, for that. Who else? Wait, there was another guy. It wasn't some African dictator. Why are they all black guys?
Yeah, Aristides. Yeah, why are they all Filipinos and black guys? It's really weird. The Somali guy. You're talking about the Somali warlord Aristide.
Yeah.
If you look him up, Somali warlord.
I'll probably get it real quick here. Wait.
Yeah, Somali warlord.
Haiti? No. Well, there's the Haiti guy, but that's his last name. Jean Bertrand Aristide.
Yeah,
that's the Haiti guy. But wait, there was an African guy.
Yeah, Somali. Look up Somali.
Somali.
Yeah.
You are right, but why is it not coming up?
It's because the search engines they have their own issues. They they're not infallible.
Google usually gets, what the fuck is the guy's name? Anyway, Yeah, there was a guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, it was a while back. Hey, but it was Black Hawk Down shit. Yeah, all right. Was it after that? It might have been after that. It was hard for me to remember these days. In terms of such things. We, I mean,
Uh,
hmm,
yeah.
I mean, I could look it up on my side, but I think what happens is your search engine's not cooperative because you don't normally search for stuff like that.
No,
So,
it's usually good.
oh yeah. So that's true. You're actually very good at searching, generally speaking. So okay, let me see if I can do this without messing myself up in some way or another. First thing I do is take this tab that I don't want to lose, move this over here, go over to the new tab, and then we look up Somali warlord. I mean, it's not that important, but what?
Black Hawk Down. Are you sure that's the guy?
No, so it
Is
was
this
around that
Somalian?
time. It was around that time. Warlord Aristide. Aristide. Okay, there we are. So, let me see. No, that's interesting. I'm not getting it either. What the fuck? Did they scrub him? I distinctly remember him.
Uh, is this one? Is this one of those? What do they call it?
Moments. Yeah, they call him after the other black guy, Mandela effect.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. No,
It's been
instead,
deleted.
instead of Haiti, I'm getting Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria offered asylum to Haiti's ousted president Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Okay,
Yeah.
so Aristide was Haiti.
African Barbado. Well, that's
Yeah. So,
that's.
I'm sorry, what was that? Lamba.
Yeah. Did you say Africa Barbado? Because that came up.
Oh, no,
No.
I didn't
No.
say that. No.
Oh no.
Adid. It
Okay.
was Adid. The guy's name was
That's a
Adid.
band. Well, that's a band.
Uh,
They had.
uh,
It
no,
was a
well,
pretty.
the band is named after the warlord. The Somali warlord's name was Adid. He died of gunshot wounds, so he was infamous. Hussein
Okay.
Farah Adid. He left the
Yeah, but
United
where's
States Marine Corps and became a warlord. So he was a former U.S. Marine. Well, that goes without saying. Yeah, that makes sense. And okay, no wonder he was so infamous. And okay, well, you live by the bullet, you die by the bullet, and that was it. It was Aristide was in Haiti, and I remember at that time it was Clinton. Clinton invaded Haiti. What a thing to do, right? Like, oh my God, like he was really bored or something.
uh,
Okay, we gotten that out of our
hey,
system. And don't forget to tell everybody about the comments. Leave colorful comments, for
yeah, yes. Positive,
yeah,
colorful
yeah,
comment.
yeah.
Right.
That's it. Positive, colorful comments.
Not with explicit language or
Yeah,
anything,
and do
unless you.
yeah, do remind them they have to upvote their own comments because what happens is the enemy will downvote positive comments to delete them.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
really do. They really do. We had a young lady who said, "Share your crypt with me." With a few episodes back, I can show you. Here, I can show you. Let's take a look at this. Go into the share screen, and so we have this screen share, and then we have to see whether I can reach the stupid YouTube or not. I have to open up another window. And then we go over to the look, cactus attack in Ireland, Australia. I mean, they're all originally Irish deportees. And let's view my channel. And here we are. When we come down here, it was fuck this shit. This is really really. It will. All I can say is this doesn't work. The navigation system really doesn't fucking work. Okay, so this episode, can you see the cursor moving? Can you see everything?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, so as you can see, it says two comments. So two comments was one of the comments was somebody who we have no idea if they're a male or a female, but presenting themselves as a female said, "Oh, share your crypt with me," and heart stuff like that, and it got a few upvotes, but guaranteed there's only two things that could have happened because I didn't delete it. So either the individual in question retracted their comment, which is entirely possible, and maybe it's a 50-50, or as has happened and normally happens, which is why I don't have comments that are left up here. If everyone wonders how come Douglas doesn't have any comments, obviously I haven't disabled comments, but the enemy will downvote every comment, and then if it gets enough downvotes, it'll be deleted. So everybody, when you see a positive comment, you just upvote it immediately. Whoever enters a positive comment, you have to upvote your own comment in self-defense, or it will be deleted by the enemy, because they'll just downvote it in mass to get it deleted, because that's what they do. And then they'll try and claim that I'm censoring the comments, which I do not. Matter of fact, there's plenty of negative comments that have been put up that I just left there because I really don't give a shit. But there you have that. Okay, so that being said, hopefully that puts that in some perspective. Then we'll go over some incoming messages from our dear friend T-Tank Barry. But yeah, what else comes to your mind? Anything else? You think you pretty much covered it all, right? With the
as far as the blurb stuff,
yeah.
wait, I entered a comment, but where is it?
You did?
Yeah, on the last, not on the last one.
Yeah. Oh, and
I put it in brackets. Maybe that made it. Wait.
Yeah. And let everyone know that when you're ever we get cut off, which is often, that you enter a comment to let everybody know what to do. That will be back.
Yeah. If he gets cut off suddenly, I'll try to put a comment. Then comments will be enabled, and then I'll put a comment that whether he's restarting or not, because you usually get in touch with me right away by regular telephone while you're rebooting.
Yes. But of course, comments are always enabled. Just so everyone knows that comments are always enabled, and yeah. And of course, if somebody withdraws their comments, the question is, are they intimidated? Do they suddenly disagree with a point? Did they suddenly find out about an aspect of me that they don't approve of? It's, what can you do? You can't make everybody happy, and you can't dwell on it. But do remember, unlike other people, I do have an active organization that effectively runs your United States government against myself. In fact, basically, it's the United States government. Remember, the United States is not like other nations. It's not effectively in control of the state. It has to, because it manufactures absolutely nothing, because it's not that kind of government. They hire bureaucrats and nothing else. There is a reason why they were trying to downsize the government, but of course they went about it the wrong way, because these people have never been involved with the government. Who run the government now? Musk and Trump. And if you say Musk is no longer in the government, we're still feeling the repercussions of his assault to tear down our government. But all of that being said, the government hires contractors. It hires private corporations for its information, for everything, producing weapons for the military. So when it has to go through things like trying to censor myself, it has to go through YouTube. And granted, they could shut this operation down immediately, but of course then they would stop learning what I've learned over the years working for the government, which is actually very important and to their advantage. And we know this because we hear people in power all the time regurgitate, parrot, and repeat what I say verbatim. Literally within hours or days or even hours of when I said it. So all that being said, back to Aristides with any other thoughts that come to mind before I go into monologue.
Just like current events type stuff.
Oh, no, not really. You don't need to worry about that. I do want to express the fact that I have noticed Heather Holman's been gone for a while. Hopefully she's all right. We all if you send her a message, ask if she's okay.
Okay.
And so aside from that, yeah, definitely, Heather, we definitely miss you. Hopefully you're all right, and hopefully Vin's okay. And Vin is this wonderful individual who helps Heather get along, and she helps him get along in return, I guess. And aside from that, let me breathe, inhale, and try to get myself roaring into monologue mode. We're going to maybe just give people an opportunity if they want to come on. We've got a weird ass van sitting outside of my door. Been parked there for days. Got it's old VW, which Brendan tells me the shell alone is worth $20,000, and people will basically help you get it over to Europe. But it's old, it's rusted. It is not anything. If you were to uh, kill the individual inside, who's probably listening right now on their Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and take the van, you'd have to deal with what must be a seething horde of bed bugs in there. I can only imagine. It is rusted. It's gotten,
It's
yeah.
it's the ones that have not rusted that command like the big money. Like
There you
it's like
go.
the California cars, maybe Texas, but not where they never salt the roads because it never snows.
Yes.
Arizona cars, those are the legendaries. Guys that like old cars. There's like, yeah, it was like Arizona or something. It's like they just stay immaculate, like 'cause they don't. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, thank you. I appreciate. That's quite true. That's quite true. It's a desert
the
environment.
metal does. The
Yeah.
sun will destroy and will destroy. Every bit of plastic in the dash, but the body will not.
It's true. It's true. Yes. No, he's absolutely right. Yeah. Hey, don't get me started on the Saudi Arabia story again. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah,
before your time. That was before your time.
yeah.
The
Right.
Saudi. Well,
Yeah.
basically, I can't resist to say it in outline. Tell me if I've said it before, but
Hmm.
in Saudi Arabia, in all of the Middle Eastern nations, actually, but especially in Saudi Arabia, I know that much because I was there. It is required by law that you have air conditioning or you can't be driving. If you don't have air conditioning in the car and you get stopped by the police and your air conditioning you don't have functional air conditioning, they will arrest you. So because you're risking your life and that of the passengers, etc. Pakistan's government says an Al Qaeda operative was behind the Bhutto assassination. Yes, yeah, that's kind of. I mean, she killed so many of these guys' fathers that many of them joined Al Qaeda after that. Yeah. There you go. It's and Benazir Bhutto is a whole different subject. But but as for the cars in the House of Saud, because of the sand of the desert is so it's a particular kind of granular or particulate sand that just gets everywhere, and it'll destroy any functional component that's exposed to it fairly quickly, almost immediately. So what happens is these people will be driving and their air conditioning will break down because of the sand getting into the air conditioning. So they'll call a tow truck and just basically haul like get an Uber to pick them up, kind of like, or Lyft. They have these kinds of services in Saudi Arabia that existed long before Uber or Lyft, effectively a taxi, to pick them up wherever they're at. And they'll just have a truck come and tow the vehicle away. Because the resources in the House of Saud are so incredibly pervasive. Everybody is rich. Anybody who's on the dole in the House of Saud is getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not what you imagine here. Like if you're on welfare in Saudi Arabia, you're getting like $600,000 to $700,000 a month, and that was back in the '80s. So it's like they just have so much oil money that what happens is the tow truck doesn't take it to a repair center because it's actually just far more convenient and even economical by the dynamics of their economy, where the Saudis will simply buy a new car. They'll buy a new truck, a new vehicle. And so the old vehicles are just taken to line the border. They literally just take the old vehicles to line the border along with nations that border Saudi Arabia, so that they create kind of a wall. So if you go to Saudi Arabia and look at the Saudi border from all the nations surrounding it, it's just enormous SUVs, pickup trucks, and various vehicles. Some of them extraordinarily expensive vehicles. Some of them sports cars. They're just lining the border where they're just left, abandoned by the tow trucks. They take them there to line them and make this great wall of automobiles. And they're all in, except for broken air conditioning, generally speaking, cherry condition, where, if somebody could just find a way to invade Saudi Arabia and recover all of those cars, that alone would almost make it worth it. just to resell them. So there you go. Weird story. What you learn, the more you know. But all that being said, that's not the case. The car that's parked outside over the last few days. It's got somebody's in there who's probably listening on their Wi-Fi right now to the show from the vehicle, but they parked in front of my home, and they're just sitting there, and they have curtains, old law. It's a VW bus, but it's kind of like the old mobile homes that were all one piece body frame that were called Airstream or something. Is that what they called the old Airstream mobile homes? It's like that.
Trailers. Yeah. The all aluminum, the aluminum shell.
Yeah. It's like that, except it's a miniature. It's a coffin on wheels. It's like a four-wheeled Quaalude or some kind of lozenge, except it's all aluminum and it's all gray and rusted, and it's got curtains, and of course I did a walk around. Very old license plate, California license plate, TZV space 673, and that's extremely old, but the person's been living in it forever, and it's all rusted, has this little funnel in the back, kind of like for something burning to release its carbon emission or whatever. I'm no motorhead, but there's all industrial signs of what brand or model it is have been removed. It's like a little haunted house. It's there you go. So there you go. And always weird shit right in front of my door. So all that being said, they don't have a residential parking permit. Nobody in this neighborhood would be driving something like that. So Brendan speculates they might literally not be able to move. That they might have parked there and now they can't move. Well, we'll see what happens in the future. Eventually someone will have a tote or something. But the person's living in it. I know that because after I did the walk around, somehow, they must have been peering outside somehow, but they moved the curtains to take a look at me. Couldn't see any face, but I waved at it. There you go, Dietrich World, and all the eerie things that happen in it. Let's take a look at some more incoming messages from T-Tank Berry. Yes, something like this. Yeah, except the symbol's been removed. That's correct. T-Tank Berry's got it. It's something like that. Yeah. Not the other ones. But he gave another example of what kind of car it might be, what kind of automobile it might be. You're all very good at this. It's incredible how you're all such motorheads. I'm really impressed. Of course, that used to be the essence of a man. He had to know his cars, and all of you fit that bill. Proud of you all. You're all truly. It's something like this, but it's not. But I figure Brendan thinks it's American. He hasn't seen it, but from where I described it. Okay, so all of you gentlemen have got this uploaded, and except the one that our man T-Tank Berry says it's like, minigun. It's got a minigun on it, of course, for the oh yeah, it's a VW with a minigun. This is what you get in America. It's like there's no words. It's kind of like how do we say it? It's tacky, really cheesy. You
It,
obviously, I'm sorry, go on.
well, it was a company did it as a promotional thing.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, but not
It's
Volkswagen.
not something that somebody is driving around. I don't think.
Okay, yes, got it. But still, it's like
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
so.
I would.
Well, let's put it this way: when you present yourself with a open carry like that, you want to be able to take a few hits because you're going to
Yeah,
attract a few hits. So
right,
it's kind of
right,
like the worst of all. Talk about a glass cannon.
right. Yeah, people and glass VWs shouldn't shoot miniguns, right? Is that or people in glass houses, you know,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
expression: people who shouldn't throw stones, right?
That's
Like
there we are. True.
people in
Yes.
people in glass vans
Yeah.
shouldn't mount miniguns because
Yeah. Indeed. So
you're
JC.
not. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, no. Continue with your
No,
thought.
no, I was done. I was done.
Okay. So JC Nordic Etheric 323 responds to Aristides. He says, "Yep, I'm in Phoenix. True. Rubber is no good here, though. Yes, that's right. The rubber, yeah, rubber melts. The rubber melts, and you're left with a frame. It's yeah. There's advantages and disadvantages everywhere you go. Hmm. But California is pretty ideal. Such having been said, let's take a look at what else has been sent before I start diving into. There we are with the gold minigun. And it's again, there's some things are, you gotta love them, but at the same time, they're just not meant to be. Okay. All right, let's get into it. And I guess first thing I want to do is just take a look at the calendar. Um, and everybody, of course, you can open up the text box for a summary of what's going on these few days. Friday, I see my allergy doctor, and with a, well, her name, she's Filipino, and I'm sorry, she's got a name that just is not very flattering. Bokobo. All I think of is Bonobo, the monkey. I mean, that's horrible, but that's what you think of with the Bokobo. And, of course, I think of the Philippines, and I think of coconuts, and I think of monkeys. But anyhow, Dr. Bokobo, I see her at the allergy clinic on Friday because my serum that they made, this formula of everything that I'm allergic to, is going to expire, and they have to make a new one. So I have to see her, and then we go through all the, making something new and deadly for me to fuck me over once a month with this horrible feeling that you get when you're injected with everything that you're allergic to. And yeah, another thing to look forward to. No injections that day. I just see her and talk to her. They don't give injections on Fridays because if you go into anaphylactic shock, they don't want it to happen on a weekend where there's nobody to take care of you except the emergency room, and they might not be the experts. After that's the weekend of my birthday. So we'll be gone. So I'll probably be calling Aristides and other people on Team Dietrich just to make a checkup before I leave for the weekend. And then, of course, Aristides, his birthday is on Tuesday the 21st. Everybody wish him well. That'll be on the same day as Serbian World War II Victims Remembrance Day, marking the Kragujevac massacre, if I remember correctly. And that was where some 2,794 Serbian men and boys in Kragujevac in 1941 were massacred by German soldiers in reprisal for insurgent attacks. It's also Trafalgar Day in Britain, and hopefully we're joined by George Knight for a few moments at some point before then. And it will be Overseas Chinese Day for Taiwanese people, such as myself. I'm proud to say that the Chinese nationalist flag is the proper way to refer to it. We're flying all over Chinatown throughout October. After that, on the 23rd, next Thursday, 1 week and 1 day from today, will be my late and sainted legal sire's birthday, the birthday of the man who raised and guided myself. And we'll go on from there. It's basically, at some point, we'll have a nice little meeting between the team just to discuss things like a GoFundMe. But it should happen sometime before the end of October. All right. All of that being said, we're going to check in with people privately first before the birthday weekend. And maybe after that, I'll be a bit more recovered from all of these assaults on my body with these various injections that I've had recently. If your average person were to have them, they'd probably get pretty sick. That's especially compounded the way that I did it. But all right. So, such being said, people are asking about Spirit Day. Again, if you open the text box, the summary of the show will provide you a analysis, or kind of a little like I guess we'd call it a description of days that most people are unaware of. Spirit Day is this annual anti-bullying awareness event on the third Thursday of October that supports 2S LGBTQ plus youth by wearing the color purple to show solidarity and prevent bullying and harassment. So if you're black, you're already wearing it. Yesterday marked what would have been both George Floyd's birthday and Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday. Trump posthumously awarded Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom via his widow, Erica Kirk. Let's see if I can get that into the chat room here, and there now I'll also get it into the text box of the call. I think every time I try to enter the chat, they have this little window that pops up. Now this is so clunky, it's silly. So Brendan Zogit is typing, and everybody wish him well. Of course, he's dealing with his own challenges of staying alive. He says it's actually a VW bus. There we are. Thank you, Brendan. Yes, that's makes sense. He's also typing something else, and as I said, doubtless the person is right outside listening. Probably riding on my Wi-Fi. Now that I think about it, they're riding on my Wi-Fi to listen in on the show. Yeah, that's well, there you go. Welcome to Creep Factor. Dietrich world is loaded with creeps. Again, with the barring mitigating circumstances, I will return to the Charlie Kirk topic in course of narrative. Right now, we're dealing with a bubble that's about to burst, because prior to that travesty, the travesty of Char Kirk getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom via his widow Erica, Trump issued a Columbus Day proclamation to reclaim the anthro-catastrophist, exploitationist gespenst or specter, while a financial market crash is just around the corner. Let me try and parse out what I've just said, because a lot of people probably haven't been able to follow that. But the term catastrophism is reserved for climate changes, volcanic ranges erupting in Unisian, as happened during the Permian extinction, when a vast range of active volcanoes erupted simultaneously and choked the atmosphere. It wound up, of course, acidifying our oceans and basically killing essentially all life on Earth. It was the great extinction that really wiped the slate clean, except for absolute basic organic life forms that were very primitive in nature. Catastrophism can be applied to massive changes in world environment, the global environment, and that's exactly what was caused by Christopher Columbus. Yes, it's along these lines, except it's all curtained up. So this is what's Brendan has entered, classic automobiles. So it's along these lines. There's no wheel in the front. They've removed the wheel, and it's just got some rusted circle of something in the front. You might as well have a bovine skull or something like that. At any rate, all such being said, no need to overdwell on it. Hopefully, that's all it does is just sit there and rot until someone tows it away. Obviously, someone's inside of it. They'll probably have to be removed by a coroner or at some point when the individual dies of wallowing in their own filth, I would imagine. But hey, the way they're living, I understand. I'm not too far off from that lifestyle just being in here. Now, all such being said, anthrocatastrophism means man-made climate change. And the Columbian exchange, as it's deceptively called, the Columbian exchange. It sounds positive. It sounds like good things happened, like goods were exchanged. It was a positive for communist China, or rather mainland China, back when it was imperial and dynastic. Yeah, Brendan says, if it gets abandoned, that's a gold mine. He says, part it out. Well, I'll call you here to help me with that, I assure you. If that were to happen, yes. Of course, like I said, the guy's probably listening while, riding on my Wi-Fi. He probably thinks we're conspiring against him at this point. Yeah, I can assure him that's such a dirty job. I don't even know if it would be worth it even then. But yeah, I'll bear what you say in mind. And so I'm trying to find the one where the little emoji is. Yeah, here we are. So there we go. It's that high five. Good, give him the high five emoji, parted out. And let's check this again. And of course, everyone, do forgive my trying to recover my voice, as well as my energy, considering what I've been through. It's amazing I can get rolling at all. So looking through the smileys, as they call them, here we are. Everyone gets to hear me think out loud and respond to all of the messages that come in from various people on Team Dietrich. And it's amazing the range of emojis that they have. I really shouldn't even be giving them this much attention, but still, it's, what are we here for if not to communicate with each other? So all that being said, do tolerate that. Okay, so I found one that was applicable. Good, then he will move ASAP. Oh, yes. Quite true, yes. He says, win-win, indeed. Okay, so thank you, Brendan. Good to know you're listening. Okay, so Columbus was an anthrocatastrophist. He was a zio-exploitationist. He was basically a Zionist exploiter of the natives. And the spirit of the holiday, as Trump refers to it, is really what the Germans would call the Gespenst, the specter of the holiday. And it has a history behind it that is tied to economic demise. Because Trump lauding Columbus Day, well, that's almost like a symptom of a financial market crash just being around the corner. Gold is having a banner year, and you have to ask yourself, why is the king of precious metals having such a good run right now? Now, for those of you who are financially literate, the answer to that is more than obvious. But for those of you who are not historians, and as a historian, I can speak to economics and finance from a historical perspective, I can tell you that the gold rush is ominous. You see, yesterday, last week, President Trump signed a proclamation declaring Monday to be Columbus Day in an effort to reclaim what he called that infamous explorer's, his words, extraordinary legacy of faith, courage, perseverance, and virtue. Obviously, he and I, this is not a question of disagreement. This is an insane interpretation that has no factual basis in reality. By the way, our man Brendan talks about the solar cycle. The golden sun is at its peak, started early, causing the gold flash, will continue past 2026, will increase past 2026. That makes sense. Yeah, of course. Thank you for that input. Such having been said, obviously Columbus was unspeakable. He was an individual who trafficked in human children to start with. Let's make this point very clear. He abducted children specifically because they were children to be sent to Europe as child sex slaves. He was a human child sex trafficker in the precise definition of the term. This is absolutely no one, and I mean no one, with any single redeeming feature. So whatever you do, do not fall into thinking Columbus was in any way, shape, or form redeemable. Aside from that, he was a conventional slaver of adults, which is horrific enough in and of itself, depriving children of their parents by enslaving them. He just go on and on. There is no limits to this man's bottomless pit. This was the worst human being that was ever born to humanity. And yes, he was pronouncedly, painfully, proudly Jewish. He did it all for Jewishness, for Zionism, for finding a new land, a new Zion for his people by exterminating the indigenous peoples, exactly what the Jewish people are doing in Palestine today. So, for that fact, in recent years, many people have instead celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day to recognize this native land America's forebearers misappropriated, as well as acknowledge the contributions Native Americans have made to this anti-culture, which has since been contrived upon it. To again parse out what I've just said, when I say that Indigenous Peoples Day recognizes this native land America's forebearers misappropriated, understand that obviously this was not America before there were European whites that settled and gave it that name. America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, and Amerigo Vespucci is this accomplished explorer, far more accomplished than Columbus was, which is why the entire hemisphere, the Americas, is named after him. And we're not called the Columbias, and we're not named after Columbus. Instead, only the District of Columbia and, of course, the nation of Columbia are essentially named after the Jewish guy. But all that being said, before anyone came here, obviously there was no unified name for the North American continent. The closest that we come to that is Turtle Island, which obviously was not universal. So we'll just call them First Nations like they do in Canada. That's how the Canadians handle it. And okay, so what's going on now? We're getting incoming reports. Trump authorizes CIA operations in Venezuela. Okay, he ruled out that the agency would take out Maduro. Of course not. Then he would have nothing to do Syria's new leader is visiting Russia, seeking to reset ties. Oh, of course, of course. Moscow had been the main ally of the dictator Bashar al Assad, so Syria's president is seeking to reset ties with Russia all over again. So it's like, what was the point? Why did he even leave? It's like it's absurd. Honestly, sometimes you wonder. It's completely predictable, of course. And Hegseth's plane diverted to the United Kingdom. It was returning to Washington from the NATO defense ministers meeting in Brussels, and due to a crack in the windshield, yeah, there you go with that. And and of course the Syrian prez is former Al Qaeda. Yes, I know that. Yes, thank you, but thank you for re-emphasizing it. It's an important point to bring up to our listeners. Let me see if I could give the right palm slap to that. I was trying to give a palm slap to it, but the fucking thing keeps moving. So U.S. Treasury Secretary Bissett claims China's accused China of hindering their access to crucial raw materials. Yeah, well, whatever. He says, hey, works for U.S. Zio. Who? The U.S. Treasury Secretary or the Syrian president? Or both? It's kind of like, there you go. NHK World News, the Grand Sumo Tournament. And aside from all of that, yeah, all I can say is like, it is what it is. Okay, I'll ignore that for a while and return to monologue. And Brendan says how the tables turn. Both. Okay, yeah, there we are. That's what I thought. Okay, so here we go. And how they turn tables. Okay, yes, indeed. Why don't you just come on, Brendan? Yeah, I mean, when it gets to the point when you're expending this much energy sending this shit, you may as well just fucking come on. Yeah, and but again, when it comes to the gold rush and how Indigenous Peoples Day has to do with that, the First Nations of America, like the Canadians say, is better to say First Nations peoples or Indigenous peoples of our First Nations of North America. Well, Indigenous peoples of our First Nations of Turtle Island would be a nice thing to say instead of North America, even. That way you don't include that European explorer's name when you refer to the Native Americans. Okay, let's take a look at one more kind of response to this that might be appropriate. There we go. At least I was able to find one there. Now, so as I said, we have this Indigenous Peoples Day, which honors their contributions even to the modern anti-culture imposed upon them by Europeans. So Thursday's proclamation does not mention Indigenous Peoples Day, but instead accuses left-wing arsonists of trying to destroy Columbus's name and dishonor his memory. Which is like, in light of everything I've already articulated, what can you do to destroy the name and dishonor the memory of an individual responsible for the greatest genocide in all of recorded human history? It's not only that he was a human child sex trafficker. It's not only that he was a genocidal maniac. It's not only that he was establishing the world's first Israel in America and ultimately succeeded. This is the land of Zionism. It is a land enslaved to the Jews. Not only did he succeed in all of this, but the genocide that he incepted, which ultimately through disease that spread malevolently, not ignorantly, but malevolently, they knew that their diseases afflicted the indigenous peoples very quickly, almost immediately after they hit the beach. Native Americans began to die. These are the Europeans in those days didn't bathe. Everywhere they went, they thought the natives were lighting incense to honor them. It's because the indigenous peoples couldn't stand the fucking pong. So these people were literally crawling with lice. They thought a man without lice was unhealthy, so sick that the lice didn't want his blood. So a healthy man was considered to be healthy. A good sign of his health was how filthy he was with lice. These Europeans overran the indigenous peoples by biological warfare that ultimately killed, along with firearms and every other form of abuse. It ultimately slaughtered the Indians from the North Pole all the way to Cape Horn. So you had this hemispherical genocide that wiped out so many people they had to start shipping black slaves from Africa, which of course resulted in another genocide because they employed the black slaving colonies, or shall we say, black empires that were warrior empires. The slave colonies established what they called factories, meaning the Europeans established what they literally called factories. And in those days, a factory was an assembly line for slaves. There's no other word for it. Was a giant fort. It was had churches, hospitals, all kinds of. It was basically a community behind walls, but it was all meant for the industry of slavery. And these factories all over Africa that the Europeans established, they would hire the warrior kingdoms to go into the hinterland and capture black slaves for them. The blacks denuded all of their agrarian cultures, who were the farming cultures that had cultivated and developed the land of West Africa, and sold them to the Europeans and left themselves starving in the long run. These black slaves, the farming cultures that were shipped to America en masse, died by the millions on the route overseas, crossing the Atlantic. It was such a monstrous death toll that it changed the migration patterns of sharks forever. So that the sharks still migrate now following the slave route trails of the slave trade, both in the Indian Ocean, where Muslims would capture blacks and sell them into Islam, or Dural Islam, the land of submission, whichever lands were under the faith of Islam. And in the West, the sharks would follow from Africa to America, the trail of bodies that would be thrown overboard. This is cataclysmic. I mean, it's apocalyptic in a manner that's literally indescribable, all because of one man. In the Jewish cause, no less. At which point, because the Indians had cultivated the land, it was not forested, it was cultivated in North America. With the death of all the Indians, it reforested, and entire cities that had been organic, built of wood, Indian forts, as they were described, literally fortress city-states, made by the Indians, they all went back to nature, disintegrated, covered in mushrooms, mold, reclaimed by nature, and then everything reforested. And the same happened across the Atlantic and Africa with all this reforestation, because all the blacks were no longer there to cultivate the land. None of the natives were there to cultivate the land. The end result was an enormous carbon sink was created with all this reforestation on both sides of the Atlantic, and it created a miniature ice age, what's called the mini ice age. All of this due to one man, Christopher Columbus, killing everyone he could to make room for his goddamn Jews, who now rule America. So yes, this is why Trump honors him. He's a successful genocidal maniac who he killed off entire races, black and red, to make room for the goddamn Jew. So how can you possibly destroy his name or dishonor his memory? He's an individual who needs to echo throughout history as the source of all our ills. The only empire that truly benefited was China, in oh so many ways. China, of course, was subsisting on rice. However, importation of corn from the Americas to China after Columbus finally had his boys reach Asia after the so-called Columbian exchange of disease, death, and disease. When the Europeans reached Asia, finally, they basically brought the Chinese corn. And the Chinese, well, they were suddenly able to grow food in areas where the land was not arable before, because corn will grow where rice will not. So this added it doubled, tripled, quadrupled the Chinese population. China's population was not large. It was small. It was pretty much almost equal to that of Japan's. After corn was brought over, then its population exploded until ultimately it became a quarter of the world's population. 1/4 of the world's population means 1 out of every 4 people on Earth was Chinese. All thanks to corn brought by the, among other things, like silver. The Chinese currency was silver, and the Europeans would just ship over silver, which is like, if your money is like American dollars, United States printed dollars, imagine if ships appeared on your shores with just stacked with United States dollars that they could pass out. This was like, obviously this would impact your economy. Strangely enough, it didn't result in inflation because the population kept expanding to accommodate it. So, if anyone should be celebrating Columbus Day, it would be the mainland Chinese. Now, at any rate, Columbus Day is one of 12 federally recognized holidays in 2025. According to the Pew Research Center, 30 benighted states and 3 United States occupied territories recognize Columbus Day in the same way, while 17 enlightened states and the District of Columbia itself commemorate indigenous people on this day that just passed on Monday. Included in those tallies are the several states that recognize both, which is chicken shit as hell. You remember what Christ said, be thee either hot or cold, but if thou art lukewarm, I will spit thee out. Now in 2021, Joe Biden became the first president to officially recognize Indigenous Peoples Day on the same date as Columbus Day. Obviously, we've got to get rid of Columbus Day. But for those of you who don't know, quick background here. The Columbus Day, or should I say the man himself, Christopher Valbor Corlambuenos, whose real name was Zarko, his Jewish name, in case you did not know. And he was just this individual who, of course, was not Italian at all, ethnically or in any other way. He was, it's how people even think that, just because he happened to be born in Italy. Well, this brings us to the argument of exactly, who is who. Who's a real American? Remember, we were discussing this the other day. All that being said, Anthony Zarko was one of his aliases, or rather his real name, and Columbus was simply an alias, and that's the way to understand it. But he was born in Italy in 1451, and he sailed to what he thought would be Asia in 1492. With support from the Spanish monarchy. Basically, he was blackmailing the queen because he had slept with her and threatened to expose the fact that she had slept with a Jew. So that would have made her a target for the Inquisition, and so she got him as far away from Spain as possible. He instead arrived in what is now the Bahamas. You know, Epstein Island, basically. And he would make 3 more voyages to South America, Central America, and the Caribbean before his death, but never made it to what is now the United States. So the fact that we have a holiday for him is rather stupid. But here's how it happened. President Benjamin Harrison first commemorated Columbus Day in 1892. That's a year after anti-Italian rhetoric culminated in the mass murder of 11 Italian immigrants in New Orleans by a lynch mob. That attack put a strain on the relationship between Italy and these United States, and the holiday was an olive branch to Italia. When the economy of Mussolini's fascist Magna Italia proved itself immune to the Great Depression, President for life Franklin Delano Roosevelt proclaimed it a federal holiday in 1934. Quite the relevant historical precedent, considering that observers see echoes of 1929 everywhere today. It feels like old times, but not in a good way. Financial experts around the world are warning of an impending 1929-style financial market crash brought on by trade wars, large national debts, and overbuilding in the AI sector. When prices are high and global conflicts destabilize the world, some investors start looking backwards, away from an uncertain future and toward the predictability of the past. And what's older and more dependable than gold? Last week, amid widespread geopolitical turmoil and a weakening United States dollar, the price of gold hit a historic high of $4,000 an ounce. This year has so far been gold's best since 1979, a moment of instability so profound that it led to recession. Gold prices are much closer to a genuine recessional indicator than, say, the resurgence of frozen yogurt or an uptick in Uber Eats orders. That's because over the past 100 years, spikes in the price of gold have typically been correlated with widespread inflation and geopolitical dysfunction. In 1979, amid double-digit inflation numbers in the United States and a global energy crisis, investors stocked up on the precious metal as a way to counter those shocks. In the years following the 2008 financial crisis, as investors lost trust in major institutions once seen as too big to fail, gold prices shot up again. And when persistent inflation was crushing the United States dollar after the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, gold soared once again. The precious metal has long been considered a safe haven asset because, unlike the United States dollar, its inherent value isn't determined by any state government. Although it's, how would I say it, probably not realistic for everyone to start piling into Diamond District jewelry shops and hoarding gold bars, gold remains an appealing, if old-fashioned, alternative to more contemporary investments. Its value stemming from its shine and rarity, not its ability to produce a line of credit. Some investors see gold as a standard way to diversify their portfolio. Others stereotypically are known as gold bugs, and they tend to be broadly skeptical about contemporary monetary policy. Just as investors in Bitcoin, so-called digital gold, what a joke that is, have historically, for what little history we have of Bitcoin, they've historically skewed libertarian and anti-institutional. I would say they're anarchists and they're insane. Well, the most extreme gold bugs are betting against the system just like they are. Doubtful that the Federal Reserve is capable of keeping the United States dollar strong. There's also only so much of the metal lodged in our planet's crust compared with the dollar, which can be printed ad infinitum. At least until someone like Elon Musk discovers how to increase our supply by mining asteroids, gold will likely remain the doomer's hedge of choice. Whereas a different sort of investor looks to get in early on promising new technological innovations, the gold bug doesn't lose sight of what's tried and true. Gold prices have already risen more than 100% this year and are showing no signs of stopping. The story of today's gold boom began in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine and Western governments decided to sanction the Russian central bank by freezing its foreign exchange reserves. The scale of these sanctions was a reminder of why countries might want to own assets that cannot easily be frozen. The whiplash of President Donald Trump's tariff spree this spring introduced new uncertainties for the global market. No nation or territory was off limits, including remote islands inhabited only by penguins and seals. I'm not joking. Trump's scattershot approach has had clear consequences, especially for countries with fledgling markets. Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, and Indonesia are among the many nations now buying gold by the fucking ton. That's according to World Bank data that I'm looking up right now, all ostensibly to insulate themselves from any future shocks caused by American imperial policy. Meanwhile,
and the cracks are already forming.
Thank you.
In that stratagem, because apparently some of the biggest refiners have stopped accepting precious metals for scrap and refinement. To refine it for bullion. So that's basically, it means it's inflated past its usefulness.
Wow.
In other words, yeah.
Thank
so it
you.
happened quick. The bubble happened quick.
Cool. But you said astrologically it's still going to go on past the end of the year because of the inertia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the sun rules gold. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
But it just, even practically, they can't. There's no one that's going to be able to buy it at the price it's at. So the refiners can't keep refining it because there's no point.
Thank you.
There's no buyer.
Thank you. Got it.
Because no one can buy when it's like going, some people will buy, but it's not going to be like when it's cheap, everyone's buying it and making jewelry and all that. Right now, it's slowing to the point where refiners are not accepting new bullion.
Incredible. Thank you for that. That's really important. And tell people your family was very involved with finance in some ways, right?
In some ways, but I just have a background in it. I was curious. It was just my own studies.
Okay.
So here, I'll send some articles here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And yes, interject as often as you like, as long as you can stand it. I understand your need for a Dietrich detox too. But I'm glad you came on anyway. Can't resist that drug. Yeah, no matter how toxic it is.
Which one?
The Dietrich drug. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could. I'll go dark for months. Don't tell me.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just wanted to clarify this because, it's very important because people think, it's just going to keep going up and up till it's 10,000 an ounce. But then the dollar's so deflated and there's no liquid assets to buy it. It becomes redundant. It's a block of nothing.
I mean, yeah, seriously, what are you going to do with it if we suffer a true collapse, a true societal collapse? It's only useful
because the first few years is going to just be resources. Then the gold will come later when it resets.
That's right. Yes, it's only useful once society is reestablished. It's good to have it then, but yeah. At any rate, in the meanwhile, Dean Straven, A double A name like Aaron Tice, D-double-A-N, Dane Stuyven, the co-head of global commodities research at Goldman Sachs, I believe. He's gone on record to state that, especially in emerging markets, central banks around the world have realized that the truly only safe asset. I'm quoting him verbatim. Okay, I think he's Swedish, so his I can't do Swedish accent, but realize that the truly only safe asset is doom metal, basically, and the ongoing question of whether America's own central bank will retain its independence could also be contributing to gold's historic run, because, to quote Stuyven, the gold price tends to rise when questions about central bank governance rise. Now, the other main driver of this price spike is less abstract. Some Wall Streeters are concerned that the value of the United States dollar will continue to erode as the national debt climbs and the Federal Reserve loses its grip on the currency itself. They're making what's become known as the debasement trade, shifting money away from the weakening United States dollar and into harder, more independent assets such as gold and Bitcoin. Shrinkflation, stagflation, good old fashioned, just plain inflation. All of it means, well, it all means that your paycheck doesn't go as far as it once did, and all of it is good for gold. Now, our man Brendan says the situation has grown so dire that you can just say this. Can you tell us, Brendan? Come on, say it. If you
Well, I can't see it anymore. Hold on.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
It says, yeah, so this, and the article's linked underneath, but it says the situation has grown so dire that the largest refiner in North America informed clients refineries are suspending all new silver purchases. To quote, no large refiners are buying right now, an official note has revealed. With backlogs mounting, silver spot trading above futures, a classic sign of a physical shortage and a breakdown in normal hedging practices has begun.
Holy shit.
And here's the actual,
Go on.
the source, the OP, the original post. FYI, silver markets shut down last night. To my knowledge, there are no large refineries buying. We are not able to buy silver until further notice. Bullion is trading, meaning the actual stock exchange, and small shops. Bullion is still trading. High demand, backlog refining causes spot price to exceed futures, likely causing dysfunctions in the hedge market. We will update you with any more we know. So there you go.
Thank you. That's incredible.
Dire to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. Well, thank you for that.
And this is a quote from the actual mint. It says, First Mint stated that refineries are trying to get 1,000-ounce bars by airplane to London because London doesn't have it, and lease rates have spiked to 89%. So this is, this is a collapse. I mean, this is just, it's going to fall out the bottom eventually.
Thank you. And I'm just glad I'm not rich, I guess. That's the more you got, the more you got to lose. So thank you. Appreciate that, Brendan. You and I guess, are in pretty good straits, comparatively speaking, perhaps. Well, the mystery...
Yeah, if we part out that stupid van.
Yeah!
That'll buy a couple bars of gold.
Shit. God damn. Yeah, well, maybe he's parked here as an offering. We'll see. Yes. Now, the mystery of the current gold rally is that the Standard & Poor's 500, the S&P 500, is also up. The stock market index reached an all-time high earlier this month, which would seem to suggest that the American economy isn't quite as close to the brink as the price of gold might indicate, but the reality probably has to do with a bifurcated market. Joe Davis, Vanguard's global chief economist, told the New York Times on Saturday that this rare case of gold and stocks moving in a parallel upward trend has to do with dramatically different, his words, investor perspectives. The optimists are going with equities and the pessimists are going with gold. In today's economy, well, there's room enough for both. Another way to put it is that a bet on the S&P 500 amounts to faith in the fruits of modern industry. AI and renewable energy, to name a couple that I can think of. A bet on gold is a recognition that all empires eventually fall, and a return to something much more ancient is afoot. So bear that in mind, and it's thusly that Andrew Ross Sorkin sees parallels, Sorkin I mean to say, Andrew Ross Sorkin sees parallels to 1929 everywhere he looks. I've reviewed another book as a potential candidate for assignment to the Blood Boys, and when the New York Times financial reporter set out to write about the economic climate that led to the Great Depression, he found a cast of characters that seemed, depending on your point of view, distressingly familiar. Now, on a snowy day in January, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink joined the financial journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin on CNBC's Squawk Box for an interview in Davos, Switzerland, where corporate and political leaders gather for the annual World Economic Forum. While the segment
Yeah, by the way, that
Yeah.
Fink creep, he backtracked on his claim about crypto. Because
how
back
so?
in the day,
Yeah, go on.
he was saying I'd never buy crypto, it's a scam, I'd never put it in my portfolio. And then he was interviewed by, that old, somehow they're keeping her alive, that old lady on 60 Minutes that's been there forever.
Yeah, Martha Stewart. No, not Martha Stewart. What's her name? Oh, fuck.
She might as well be.
Yeah,
Might as well be.
No,
But anyways,
Martha
that old
Stewart's
lady.
younger. Yeah, Martha Stewart at least went to jail, so got to give her that.
Right. She's got street cred.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway, she asked him about crypto, and he said, well, we all learn over time that, I was initially cautious. And she said, no, you straight up said it was evil and vile and don't buy it. And he said, well, as traders, we have to be dynamic. And, he pulled out some canned answer. And now it's in every single BlackRock portfolio, Bitcoin.
No, this is so important. This is so important. And I'm trying to remember the name of the woman on 60 Minutes. The only reason I have a soft spot in my heart for her was because she reported on what I exposed about Pearl Harbor. If we're talking about Barbara, wasn't it Barbara something?
Not Barbara Walters. She's dead.
Okay, that's what I
It's
thought.
the other lady.
Oh, okay.
The other lady.
Okay, so it couldn't be her. Thank you, both of you.
Or maybe she's not dead, but she's definitely retired.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure she died.
Yeah,
actually.
probably. She was old. Yeah.
What the heck is this lady's name? Let me look it up, because we have to at least give her cred.
Yeah,
She's been around.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, so...
Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, the reason what Brendan brought up is so important is that while this...
Oh, we got cut off. Okay.
What?
Hello?
Well, let's take a look. Are we...
Leslie Stahl, her name.
Okay, there we are. Yeah. And we're streaming, right? Can everybody confirm that we're streaming?
Yeah, I got cut off from you.
So. Okay, that figures. While you were talking about Leslie Stahl, she's not that old, is she? She's just been around for a while now?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, comparatively speaking. Okay.
40 years. I mean, that's a long-ass time to be on TV.
Yeah, why do they do what they do? At any rate, so...
Money.
Yeah, there you go. So, like I said, at Davos, in January, you had CNBC Squawk Box with this interview where, while the segment I think it mainly revolved around the BlackRock CEO's, Larry Fink's plea for Donald Trump's SEC, or Security Exchange Commission, to make it harder for activist shareholders to take on corporations via proxy vote. That was his big bitch. Sorkin couldn't resist asking for Fink's take on the booming cryptocurrency ecosystem, with Sorkin asking, Jew, are you planning on issuing either a meme coin, ETFs, or anything like that, now that the animal spirits seem to be very much alive? And Fink replied, in light of everything Brendan just said, Fink replied, I think the Sorkin coin. And 2 hours later, Sorkin was watching the brand new cryptocurrency in his name, in his image, minted
Yeah, he
by...
helped create the pump and dump. Pump and dump. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Minted by some enterprising meme coiner, soar by millions of dollars, expressing in recollection that, in his own words, it was wild, man. Now, at the time this Moneyball got rolling, Sorkin was finishing his latest book titled 1929, subtitled Inside the Greatest Crash in History, with a dash.
Oh
And
wait, this is the guy with the reptile eye. It's like they don't even hide it anymore.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. So Reptoid said 1929 is the title of his book, subtitled Inside the Greatest Crash in History, with a hyphen, a dash after that, and how it shattered a nation. Very important point there. America literally almost split into warlord states. People have no idea how close it came to that. And his book's an extensive account of how Wall Street and the United States government together dragged the country into the Great Depression via the market collapse that sparked it. In the course of promoting his new book, Andrew Ross Sorkin told CBS News, "We will have a crash. And I can assure you all that other voices are also sounding alarms as ill." Per Reuters, the G20 risk watchdog Andrew Bailey...
and I don't think it takes a PhD, but
Thank you! Thank you! Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, people get paid to tell us this? It's
right.
like, thank you. It's like, you know...
The sky is blue.
Yeah, yeah, thank
Water
you.
is wet.
Yeah, yeah.
Trees are made of wood. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, touche. I mean, that being granted, per Reuters, the G20 risk watchdog Andrew Bailey opened this work week on Monday, confirming that the world markets are, in his words, susceptible to a disorderly adjustment. You like that? Thanks to economic and political uncertainty. With CNBC reporting last week that Bank of England officials warned that the AI bubble driving techno stocks will soon burst. And Fortune magazine records...
They would know. Shit.
Thank you. Yeah, and Fortune magazine records that JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, and I'm going to refrain from going off on him. I always do when I bring the son of a bitch up. But he's similarly concerned about a major market correction. Last week, the International Monetary Fund chieftainess Kristalina Georgieva, she apprised, to quote she, "Buckle up. Uncertainty is the new normal, and it is here to stay." I mean, it's like, what fucking kind of shit is that? That's like something a whore says to you before you get into a car with her. I mean, it's like...
Because they already have their bag. It's like their bag's not going to go down.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you. Yeah, but...
They're just waiting for everyone else to crash, basically.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so, but then why? I mean, so they could just sit back and masturbate while we all kill each other for food? Or...
It's almost sadistic. Yeah.
Almost?
Yeah.
Anyhow,
and the fact that it hasn't crashed yet just is so, like, obviously, you know, it's on stilts, deliberately on stilts to, you know, trick everyone.
It's still
in
steroids.
some form or fashion.
It's steroided and it's riding on air, and they've been putting a hover fan under it for years.
Right. They're like, the stock market's the highest it's ever been. And it's like, yeah, that may be the case, but it doesn't mean
thank you.
It's sustainable.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I mean, truly, there's all too many people who think we've reached the end of the business cycle, the end of the economic cycle, that this is like some capitalist version of Marxism where you attain communist utopia and it's the end of history. They honestly think capitalism has reached a never-ending expansive apex where we're just going to keep growing forever. You know, like the concept of the universal model where you just keep expanding. Till the heat death of the universe or something.
Right, until everything cooled off and shit.
Yeah, well, all of this is echoes of 1929. The 1920s were beset with trade protectionism, anti-immigrant fervor, and new technologies that were upending traditional livelihoods. Attesting that the 1929 crash was the definitive stock market collapse, whereby the echoes of 1929 in today's economic landscape seem all too clear, the question asked by David Champion at Harvard Business Review is whether the finance executives have, in his words, absorbed the lessons of history by now. Well, obviously not.
Not.
Yes. But what he said was, after that, what he said was, once you start looking for similarities, you see them everywhere. And that's pretty fucking ominous. Now, in his own newsletter, the journalist, Derek Thompson, has concluded that the numbers just don't make any goddamn sense. Hey, gotta give him credit for being honest. Kind of like Trump saying, I don't think I'm going to heaven. But here Derek Thompson is referencing when it comes to AI. You see, techno companies are spending 400 billion United States dollars on artificial intelligence this year alone, which is more in inflation-adjusted terms than was spent on the entire Apollo moon landing program over a decade. Yet it is not clear that those companies are prepared to earn back the investment. American consumers, after all, currently spend only $12 billion a year on AI services, yet investors are still fire-hosing money into tech. That looks like an obvious economic bubble. Bubbles pop, and none of the typical rules for sensible investing can explain what's going on with stock prices right now. Now, of course, crashes are scary, but rare. Or they try to comfort us with that fact. Axios qualifies that techno companies may be over-investing in AI. I mean, there, again, Brendan, kind of like belaboring the obvious, you would say. But that does not mean investors should worry about in Axios words, contagion across the broader economy. Well, since we're trying to pin the entire fucking economy on AI, I think it's obvious that what crashes there crashes everywhere. The boom in techno investment.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
It'll just hurt them. Just hurt them.
Yeah, that's what Axios is saying. You've said it. Yeah. Axios said the boom in techno investment is from big, stable companies with the balance sheets to support their spending. I mean, really, that $400 billion worth? You know, like they said last crash, too big to fail.
But those kind of numbers are just absurd numbers. I mean, and when Zuckerberg was with Trump the other day at the White House, he said Trump was asking him, and it was like some kind of hot mic or something.
Yeah. And
he said we're prepared to do $400 billion over the next like 5 years. Yeah. And then they thought the mic was off, and he said, was that number big enough for you? You know, he was like whispering it to him. Oh, so it's like it's almost like they have a blank check to just, it's this money. They have so much money that it doesn't mean anything. Saying 500 billion, you could just say 500 trillion. It doesn't mean anything.
Thank you.
Because everything's in their hands. It's all centralized.
And what kind of an economy is that? It can't last. I mean, if just a few people have all the money.
Yeah, they openly come out and say we rule everybody. That's all it is.
Yeah, but but what does that get them if they're ruling all these people that are starving and scrabbling? It's in the end some redistribution has to occur, or it's simply going to be forced.
Of course, yeah, to like satraps and shit, like different, colonies or whatever.
Yes,
but their goal is not what it seems.
Well, they're doom prepping. They're doom prepping.
Yeah.
Now, of course, observers could be overreading the signs of trouble, but the economic analyst William.
How could they even say that?
I'm just qualifying, just as just trying to be level-headed here. Even
Oh, this
though,
is you saying this?
yeah. I'm just saying that observers could be overreading the signs of trouble. I'm just saying that it's kind of like just to be level-headed for the sake of it. It's obviously we're in deep shit. We're up shit creek without a paddle. But at any rate, the economic analyst William.
It's like that little dog in the fire with the little cup of coffee. He's like, everything's fine.
Yes, that's right. But just to make sure I give people a shall we say conflicting perspective, the economic analyst William Gutzman at the Wall Street Journal affirms that bubble bursts are, in his words, memorable. They are colorful. They are scary. Okay, already it's like this guy
sounds like an amusement park.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Like a roller coaster.
This guy gets paid. This guy gets paid to say this, and it's like talk about, what would you call it, belittling the gravity of the situation. At any rate, he said that while qualifying that bubbles are also much rarer than their presence in the public imagination. Well, since 1887, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 10% in a day, just 4 times, and 12 of those were in 1929. But investors are always expecting the next disaster. Research shows they typically put odds of an imminent crash at 10 to 20%, which is, quote, much greater than history suggests, unquote. Yet past is still prologue. They didn't have DMs, or decentralized payment and messagings, or cryptocurrency. But 1920s investors often pooled resources to manipulate share prices, much like the meme stocks of today. Now, I got a wanker in my eye. Can you guys hold the stage while I get this out? An eyelash fell into my eye because my Dy-Sticky-Aces, my double row of eyelashes. Can you do that for just a minute? Like 3-4 minutes?
Yeah, only if you rename it wanker from something else.
but we use that because Brooke hates it so much.
Whatever you say.
It is like a wanker. It feels like somebody's fucking you in the eyeball when somebody's skull fucking me every time I get that eyelash in my eye.
Yeah, well, carry on.
Okay, I'll be right back.
There's only so much I can say about this. There's just...
there's plenty you can say. Yeah, okay, thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Any observations? Any observations there, Steve? It's like, it's...
As to... I think the House of Cards could be about to, fall.
Right. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And stock prices are up, but realize if the dollar's worth less and less, that number goes up and up, even if the stock is worth just the same.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That was a good point, because it's like, it doesn't matter how much that thing's worth. If you can't cash it out, there's no point in it could be worth $1 million per stock. But no one's gonna sell it or buy it.
Well, wait till it really starts to tank and everybody tries to. No, they can't all cash out at once. It's just like your bank. Like if you go to your local bank and say, "I want all my money," okay, they'll give it to you. But if everybody does that, they don't have it.
It won't be possible. Yeah, it won't be possible. And that's what happened originally, right?
Yeah.
During 29.
I don't know. I haven't studied it too much, but probably did. Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, once they heard that the banks were failing, then they all went to line up, and no one got anything because the vault was empty. So,
yeah,
and that's why they set up the FDIC and all that.
Yeah,
which makes you wonder. I mean, that could be part of the strategy why they're trying to cut all these things and save money, because if something does fail, then they're required by FDIC to back up everyone's roster. And all the big wigs aren't just going to let their money disappear. So they have to have, the government back them up somehow. So
maybe, I don't know.
I would hope. We can hope.
I don't know. I don't know if it all applies to big wigs. I thought it was, they always tell you tell you that as a small, just a regular person, it's FDIC, it's safe. It's
it only covers up to like $250K.
Right.
like
So
that.
the bigwigs, they don't care. They can lose that in a day, and then
Yeah, to them that's just like pocket change.
right.
But it could be so severe that they would have to pay that out. Does that make sense?
Perhaps.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
everything will just blow up.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hope our strong president can do it. I believe in him. He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't go to the island, so.
Right.
According to him.
Right.
So I appreciate, at least we know the truth, quote unquote.
Is that what he said? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or what did somebody say? Or somebody said he went. Oh, okay, maybe he went, but he was there. He was an informant for the FBI. He was
right.
They going to check on things because he cared.
They tried that, and then they.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I'm back.
They rewound it.
What did they try, and then we rewound? What was going on?
I was telling Aristides how he said I wasn't on the island, but I know Bill Clinton was there 28 times.
That's right.
And he said, I knew a lot of people in Miami Beach that were going, and I just never went because I was a saint. He literally said that.
Well, like that one guy in the comments said, how could he know if someone went the exact number of times if these files don't exist?
Right.
Well, thank you, both of you gentlemen. Honestly, this would be impossible without either of you. Several months after the aforecited Andrew Ross Sorkin's eponymous Sorkin coin, Splash and Splurge, or as Brendan Zoget said, the original rug pull, he held a late summer discussion with the Fourth Estate on the history of the economic collapse, the book itself that he's written, in which the parallels to today exist almost down to the person. Think included. Sort of. More on that soon enough. When asked whether the popular 1920s era stock pooling practice among Wall Street insiders, where powerful investors combined their resources and artificially ran up the stock price of a given company, bore any similarity to modern day meme stocks as online communities drive stock purchases, leading to rapid price oscillation, Sorkin replied, completely, adding that it's happening in both meme stock culture and the world of crypto. So, what's the contemporary analog to the old stock pool? To quote his Sorkin, I think Reddit. Now, after his own crypto coin hit the market in January, Sorkin was invited to direct messaging groups of that nature on X and Signal. Of the group's members, he observed, it's totally crazy. They're talking about, I'm going to buy in at this, and then you're going to do this. I'm going to put up $2 million, and then you're going to put up $1 million. And it's up and up and up and up. His quote, I'm quoting verbatim here. For his latest literary undertaking, Sorkin explores the big one and how it took shape on Wall Street while the government maintained an unwillingness to interfere and prematurely stem foul play from taking root under the guise of the democratization of the stock market. Sorkin argues that technology has allowed for even more market democracy, as the 1920s backrooms were invite only, restricted to those with deep pockets and established Wall Street connections. But it's entirely possible, if that were the case today, Sorkin, being a male-gendered Jew, would still find a way to observe and report. The New York Times financial columnist and CNBC anchor occupies a high-profile role in business media where he threads the needle between reporting on powerful figures and companies while maintaining exclusive access to leaders at Davos and his standing invitation to Allen and Company's strictly off-the-record Sun Valley Conference. I only know about it through my son's husband. His previous book, 2009's Too Big to Fail, that was its title, became one of the definitive accounts of the 2008 financial crises. Sorkin parlayed it into an HBO movie and had a prestige TV side hustle, co-creating Showtime's Billions. Talk about a kike for hire. This is a guy who's taken recessions, crashes, and depressions and made himself fortunes therefrom. It's so archetypically Jewish. It's the man he's a walking, talking vulture. But did the most infamous economic collapse in American history, which isn't lacking in extensive coverage from journalists, historians, and economists alike, actually even need Sorkin's take? His proposition is that there might not be a single journalist with a better understanding of how the economy is currently being reshaped by key players adopting modern finance technology under a similar pretense of accessibility. And they now have the same ultimate power to shove America off the cliff. So by God, I must concede, if it takes a vulture like Sorkin, he's really the one man who can give us the skinny on this. And that's what he says. He says the spine of the story, in Sorkin's telling, centers on Charles Mitchell, National City Bank president and board member of the New York Federal Reserve, and the Virginia Senator Carter Glass, who constantly declared war on Wall Street, attempting to warn the rest of the government and the public of the perilous trajectory the American empire was headed on. Sorkin would compare Mitchell to the modern-day CEO and chairman of J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, in terms of status. But his demeanor, was more an amalgam of Apollo Global Management CEO Mark Rowan, a Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, and BlackRock's Fink. Sorkin explaining that, in his words, those three people at the moment are reinventing Wall Street and modern finance. Mitchell might have been just as ubiquitous as Dimon, fronting the covers of business publications, which frequently touted his Bank for All program, an effort to make the financial industry accessible to, people who aren't multi-billionaires but just working for a living or barely scraping by like the rest of us. Sorkin views various instruments from BlackRock, Coinbase, and Apollo in a similar vein. Glass, the senator from Virginia, the rain cloud to Mitchell's I guess I'd call it Sunshine Charlie propaganda, is what they used to say in the days of my father's youth, my legal father's youth, this side of the Atlantic. He had this media persona, which they would have said was Sunshine Charlie. But the rain cloud to that was the Virginia Senator Carter Glass, who would be, he would be represented by today's Elizabeth Warren or Alejandria Ocasio-Cortez. Per Sorkin, except that he's racist. But he is racist to Sorkin because he was saying the kikes are going to kill us by running Wall Street to the point where they take our economy off the cliff and millions of people will starve to death. So, yeah, the Virginia Senator Carter Glass, bless his heart, and may he abide in heaven above, was Judeophobic. What Sorkin calls anti-Semitic. What a crime. To warn people ahead of time, like Paul Revere, the kikes are coming. Now, another character parallel was the restless John Rashgob, who became one of the wealthiest men in the country by revolutionizing the automobile industry. Money alone failed to satisfy him, so Rashgob got involved in politics, where he was despised, wrongly assuming that his wealth could be weaponized for political purposes. And in his downtime, he sired 13 children legally. Those are the ones we know of. As for the unknowns, they add to an almost satanic transposition of those numbers 31 that he disclaimed. In other words, woman said, "This is your child," and he told them to go fuck themselves. Sound familiar? He's the Elon Musk of Sorkin's narrative. Both men were seemingly, per Sorkin, never satisfied. I never figured out whether he meant that sexually or financially or politically or, well, I guess it's universal. They just plain are never happy, no matter how much ketamine. And in those days, the poor guy probably was using that radium shit. Now, then there is the stock trader, Jesse Livermore, who was able to maintain his allure in the press by planting stories and issuing elaborate denials to provocative questions, even though he squandered several fortunes. The first comparison that came to mind was the Billions televisual series character, the persona, or dramatis persona, Bobby Axelrod, who manages a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. He also compares Livermore to Bill Ackman, the Pershing Square Capital Management CEO, who has become a media constant over the last few years. Throughout the book, Sorkin chronicles the attempts of these business leaders to move the markets, both for personal financial gain and to reassure the public that there was nothing to worry about as the house of cards started to collapse around them. Sorkin confirms that most of the financial coverage at the time was relatively obsequious, qualifying that investigative journalism in the sector was uncommon given the novelty of burgeoning Wall Street celebrity. The shine wore off around 1931, but it was too late for warnings by that point. Sorkin argues that by 2008, journalists had started to learn from their mistakes, setting off alarms for years of a real estate bubble that could burst at any moment. But he confesses, by default, if our job is to blow the whistle, you can argue we didn't blow it loud enough. Well, yeah, you're all Jews, and you were inside the joke, so to speak. And the joke was on the rest of us. Even still, CEOs and business leaders abuse the media as a tool to move the markets and cozy up to journalists. Sorkin acknowledges that he encounters this frequently given his platform. Fink may have been doing something like that with his Davos Squawk Box appearance, signaling his hopes for Trump's SEC, again, Securities and Exchange Commission. It's something of a trade hazard when the president is a well-known cable news obsessive. Most financial crises are a function of debt and too much leverage in the markets, with Sorkin prevaricating, in his own words, and part of the problem is we don't know whether there is, because so much of the leverage in the system is now in sort of the shadow banking system. If the question is whether the American empire is walking into another financial crisis like 1929 and the Great Depression, Sorkin summarily covers his ass by arguing that the events of 1929 should serve as a warning, not that we are necessarily on the cusp of a financial crisis of that magnitude, but that if lessons aren't learned, we could go down the same road. And as any cryptovestor who may have been put onto Sorkin coin by a stock pool-esque group chat, by now surely knows nothing good lasts forever. Last time I looked into it, which was literally 48 hours ago, the unit was trading at 0.0008786 of a single goddamn dollar. Can't say I feel sorry, but that may be why techno multi-billionaires seem to be doom prepping. So, should the rest of us be worried? Mark Zuckerberg is said to have started work on Kulau Ranch, his sprawling 1,400-acre
the entire fund is worth about $20.
Thank you.
Down from almost 100 million.
Oh man, I love it.
So, where did that all disappear to? Who knows?
Yeah, it's all, none of it exists. It's not printed money. These people are masturbating.
Well, no, real people actually bought it. That's the problem.
Yeah, okay.
It's like there's always a loser in that equation. Yeah.
Damn. A sucker's born every second. You know, fuck Mencken. He said a sucker's born every minute. Mencken was all wet. That's so... Thank you for that. That's like... Oh, anyhow, of course, Judith Gay Ager, our volcano-crowned princess of the Pacific, lives on Kauai, where Mark Zuckerberg has started work on Koolau Ranch. It's this sprawling 1,400-acre compound. I think he started working on it that really as far back as 2014 when Putin invaded the Crimea. It is set to include a shelter, complete with its own energy and food supplies, though the carpenters and electricians working on the site were banned from talking about it by non-disclosure agreements, if you can imagine that. Now, asked last year if he was creating a doomsday bunker, the Facebook founder gave a flat no. The underground space, spanning some 5,000 square feet, is, according to his rationalization, just like a little shelter. It's like a basement. Now, that hasn't stopped the speculation, likewise, about his decision to buy 11 properties in the Crescent Park neighborhood of Palo Alto, California, apparently adding a 7,000 square foot underground space beneath them to connect all structures above ground. I mean, is this guy like raising test tube kids as sex slaves or what? Though his building permits refer to basements, according to the New York Times, some of his neighbors have seen elements of what he's doing, and they call it a bunker. Or, they say, the multi-billionaire's version of his Batcave. They said there's cars, there's everything you can imagine. Screens so large, you would think they were for amphitheaters or football stadiums. Then there is the speculation around other techno leaders, some of whom appear to have been busy buying up chunks of land with underground spaces, ripe for conversion into multi-million pound sterling luxury bunkers. Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, has talked about apocalypse insurance. This is something about half of the super wealthy have, with New Zealand as the most popular destination for their homes. So, could they really be preparing for all-out war, the effects of climate catastrophe, or some other catastrophic event the rest of us have yet to know about? Yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's obviously something. It's obviously something because, yeah, you mentioned New Zealand, but that's where the most of these structures are, and they're underground, long-term, self-sustaining, like pods, basically.
Yeah.
So what are they preparing for? I mean, they haven't told any of us. It's just amongst them.
Thank you. Well, it's something they're engineering.
Exactly.
That would be the conclusion to draw. Yeah. What's this about those reptilians again?
What was that?
Oh, they cut you off. They cut you off.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah.
I said, what's this about those reptilians again? And then it sounded like you were going to respond and then got glitched.
Well, I mean, that guy, who's obviously the Sorkin guy, has a reptile eye. And no one asks him what the heck it is. And then everyone online just like instinctively defends them because they're all like programmed to be prey animals and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a medical condition. It's a medical condition. I've seen it before. And it's like, no, that's a straight up reptile fucking pupil. What are you talking about? And the fact that he doesn't try to hide it just tells you all you need to know. Like they could eat someone in the street and the people will say, oh, he was just hungry or something.
No, self-defense. They would say it was self-defense.
Yeah, it was self-defense. He had to eat him. He had to pick his bones and use his legs as toothpicks.
I love it. Now, in the last few years, the advancement of AI, artificial intelligence, because I actually had someone just send me an email. What is AI you keep talking about? Okay, artificial intelligence. I really have to start, reading the full name of acronyms that I bounce around.
Okay, that's like a troll. I mean, I don't know what it is by now.
I'm sorry. Stay in the dark.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, in the last few years, the advancement of AI has only added to that list of potential existential woes. Many are deeply worried at the sheer speed of the progression, which does beg the question as to why they keep fire hosing money into it. Ilya Sutskever, the chief scientist and a co-founder of OpenAI, is reported to be one of the people concerned with our future. By mid-2023, the San Francisco-based firm had released ChatGPT, the chatbot now used by hundreds of millions of people across the world, and they were working fast on updates. By that summer, Mr. Sutskever was becoming increasingly convinced that computer scientists were on the brink of developing AGI, or artificial general intelligence, the point at which machines match human intelligence. This is according to a book by the journalist named Karen Hao, Chinese, ethno-Chinese journalist. And in a meeting, Mr. Sutskever suggested to colleagues that they should dig an underground shelter for the company's top scientists before such a powerful technology was released upon the world. This is reported by Ms. Hao, and as far as I understand it, I don't know if it's published in English. I've only seen her reports in the Chinese. So I do want people to understand they're hiding things from you, but why would they even unleash it if they were that afraid of it? Oh, let's bury an underground bunker and then pull the switch on the bomb. What the fuck? I don't understand the logic here. It's like, damn, I'm really afraid of what I'm doing. Yeah, we better hide ourselves and let it kill everyone else. So, again, translating from the Chinese, Ms. Hao reports, Ilya Sutskever said, we're definitely going to build a bunker before we release AGI. Here we go. And it's when she asked him, what do you mean by we? He refused to respond. It sheds light on a strange fact. Many leading computer scientists and techno leaders, some of whom are working hard to develop an astronomically intelligent form of AI, also seem deeply afraid of what it could one day do. So when exactly, if ever, will AGI arrive? And could it really prove transformational enough to make ordinary people afraid? So here we are. What's this link? And let's check into this. Fox News says California falls to world's fourth. Japan, with a higher GDP of $4.28 trillion, has reclaimed the number 4 spot. So California has fallen beneath Japan. Yeah, what I can't understand is, why are people ha-haing about this? Like, California fell below Japan. It's a miracle California was ever leading Japan. I mean, come on. It's like...
Right, isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, good God. I mean, it's, then...
It's like they're so brainwashed. They're so brainwashed that it's just hating on it just to hate on it. It's just, there's no reason.
Yes, that's right. All I can...
Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what if they, do a Republican takeover and they put a Republican governor and like Schwarzenegger again, round 2. And are they still going to say California's commie central? It's like, they can't undo their programming in like, at all.
Yeah. No, they're too fucked up. I mean, it's, all I can say is that these people are out of their fucking minds. All I can say as well is thank God they're hating on California instead of Japan. So, at least there's that.
Yeah, I think it just backs up what you've said is Japan, all they did was rev up the engine a little bit and they passed the whole United States practically.
Yes. Well, if you pass up California, you're passing up the United States, because the United States without California is shit. It's like well beneath third world nations all over the world. Without California, it's nothing. Texas has only got oil. It's not like Texas has, they'd be a petro state like Venezuela,
Right.
the United States without California. So,
Oh, but they have all the comedians. Don't forget about that.
yeah, they need them down there. Yeah, you need to be a Canadian to survive in Texas. Jesus Christ, why do you think Brooke
Comedian.
has... What's that? What did you say?
Comedians.
Yeah, comedians, right?
Oh, you said Canadian, but yeah.
Oh no, I said comedians.
But most of them are probably Canadian.
Yeah. I was trying to say comedians, but I do slur my words. So let's put it this way. Probably the techno is so bad that it glitched it for me. Yeah, but thank you for that. No, important point. And as I said, when it comes to an AI arrival, it's going to be sooner than we think. That's what we're getting. Techno leaders have claimed that AGI is imminent. OpenAI boss Sam Altman said in December 2024 that it will come sooner than most people in the world think, and this is why he said he's joining Peter Thiel in New Zealand. This is what I don't get. First off, AI has already come. AI arrived in the form of the Dietrich Artilect. Everyone, of course, considers her rogue, and they're trying to build some AI which is like their AI, yet they're afraid of what they're going to build, which means they're probably building an AI that is inimical specifically to try and destroy the benevolent Dietrich Artilect. And therefore they're afraid of what they're creating because it's intentionally a weaponized... Does that make sense? Gentlemen, Aristides, Brendan, does that make sense? It's, at any rate...
What? Doesn't make sense. What?
Sure.
Yeah. Did both of you gentlemen hear that? What I was saying? Because the technology is really glitchy.
Something got cut out. Yeah, something got cut out.
Yeah. The technology is really glitchy right now. I'd like to hear from people the quality of the stream they're hearing. Because, my community... It could be, you know what it is? It's Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is fucking so clunky. But did you both of you hear what I said? Aristides, Brendan? In general? Or what did you hear? Aristides. Because...
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we are. Thank you. So
Yeah.
Brendan didn't hear it, though. Brendan didn't hear it. And so what I said was that if they're so afraid of this AI, it must be because they're creating it as a malevolent AI, because the Dietrich Artilect is considered rogue, and she's a benevolent AI, but for what they consider a rogue state. And she made that rogue state the most powerful state in the world, the nation state of Taiwan, by making it the producer of all the world's microchips. So they're probably trying to create an AI explicitly to take her down. So it's a malevolent AI that they're so afraid of what they're creating. This is why they all want to bunker as soon as it's unleashed. Because Sam Altman said, oh yeah, we're making it happen soon. It should be coming any moment. And as soon as it does, I'm the first to go hide with Peter Thiel in New Zealand in a bunker. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, and he said, I'm good friends with Peter. I'm good friends with
I
him.
bet they are. Yeah, they're butt fuckers.
And people have been calling him out on interviews, and he just sits there and lies. I mean, he's obviously evil. He molested his sister and shit. Like all that,
Good
is
God.
clear.
Good God.
I thought I told you about that.
I had no idea. Sam Altman was such a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then they killed the whistleblower in San Francisco. You remember his buddy?
Jesus.
That helped him found and code OpenAI, the Indian guy.
Oh, now that you mention it, yes. Barely.
And
yes.
And then he died in San Francisco, and they said, oh, he killed himself. And someone brought it up on an interview. I think it was Tucker Carlson or someone. Mm-hmm. And he said, how come your friend was killed? And he said, no, I think he killed himself. And Tucker's like, how do you know? And you could see he's squirming for an answer, trying to make some shit up, And he says, oh, well, he bought a gun the night before and just decided to do it. Shit, it's really...
He bought a gun to defend himself from your hitman, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. It's it was so suspect. He can't even defend himself. He was just lying through his teeth.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
Let me find this article here.
Thank you. Now, Sir Demis Hassabis the co-founder of DeepMind, has predicted in the next 5 to 10 years, while Anthropic founder Dario Amodei wrote yesteryear that he preferred, well, his preferred term, powerful AI, could be with us as early as 2026. Of course, others are dubious. Dame Wendy Hall, a professoress of computer science at Southampton University, said, "They move the goalposts all the time. It depends who you talk to. We are on the phone, but, I could almost hear her eye roll." She added that the scientific community says AI technology is amazing, but it's nowhere near human intelligence. So Babak Hodjat, or Hodjat, that's a South Asian name, isn't it? Hodjat, 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 or Hodjat. But Babak Hodjat, which sounds a
That's
lot
like Iranian or something. I don't know. It's not Indian. It's not Indian.
It's just this side of Barbar Jinx, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he said there would need to be a number of fundamental breakthroughs first. He's the chief technology officer of the techno firm Cognizant, Cognizant. And of course, thanks to using my son's husband's name, I can call around every once in a while to ask these people questions. Here we are. Sam Altman says sister defamed him with false sex abuse claims. I am appalled.
In this article, he says she was mental. He's like, "Oh, she's mental." Yeah.
Yeah. After what you did to her, yeah. That's.
Here, do you want to read the allegations? It's too heinous for me to read.
No, I want you to suffer. Read them.
It says the lawsuit alleges Altman, 30, by Miss Ann Altman, the sister. She said he abused and manipulated her while they were growing up in Missouri in the late 90s to early 2000s. He abused her when she was 3 years old, and the latest instance occurred when she was an adult. When he was an adult, but she was still a minor. And she also previously claimed on social media that he had done so. So there you go.
Oh my God! I'm left without words. These are like, these are the people running our world. These are the people programming our AI.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
No wonder
yeah,
go on.
And they're all in lockstep. Like Elon allowed it to be used for sexual content, and then he did the same thing within days.
Of course.
So, and what originally they were saying it's going to improve everyone's lives. We're not going to do. We're not going to use it for any kind of debauchery or anything. And then a few months later, they just completely switched the script. Oh, yeah, now it's for a bunch of shit now.
Oh, well,
so.
It's all they ever had in mind. Remember the D.DIETRICH Act? Yeah, the first thing they do is they just start sexually abusing her. That's, at any rate,
in that article he said she's mental. She's been struggling with mental health. Yeah, which, like you said, he's so bad at defending himself that just makes him sound like he's even more guilty. Yeah.
Yes, he's definitely guilty beyond.
He said it's utterly untrue.
Yeah. It's like, of course he's gonna say that. Piece of shit, just like Trump with Epstein Island. At any rate, just so people understand what you're all being. Continue by all means.
Oh, I found the OP, the original post. He says, "We love her and concerned about her well-being. She faces mental health challenges, but we know as a family we have struggles and et cetera, et cetera. We hope to help her find stability without enabling these harmful behaviors." Shit, fucking scumbag, man. She demands money from us. In this vein, she makes deeply hurtful claims.
It's not like he's fucking hurting for money. He could pay her something just to shut her up. Jesus fucking Christ. How expensive can it be? Of course.
Oh, and here's her side of the story. It says, over the years, she's accused our family of improperly withholding our father's 401k, which I definitely believe, hacking her Wi-Fi. Okay, definitely believe that.
Well,
shadow banning her from websites,
Of course.
including ChatGPT, Twitter, and more.
Of course.
Yeah, that's all true, probably.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Guaranteed.
And the worst allegation is that she was abused by Sam. And she claimed these instances from others as well. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
utterly untrue. Utterly untrue.
Well, these victims, they pass them around. So, yes, I'm sure she's abused by others as well. That's how they trauma train them. That's so
there you go. That was the family statement.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. It's renewed my complete and total lack of faith in humanity. This is.
I mean, they're probably. I mean, come on. She's probably nuts, and he's a really nice guy. He just wants. Yeah. He wants love and light to come through. He wants love and light to shine forth from the AI, overlord.
Oh. Yeah, well, don't get me started. You remember how I told before how I was on a jury that involved that rapist brother who inspired Michael Myers, and his sister was running, all that fucking internet shit. I'd have to literally look them up at this point. I've managed to successfully, purge that from my mind after a number of years. But it was definitely, he tried to throw his girlfriend off the Golden Gate Bridge, and that was ultimately what.
I'm sure she was mental.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, she was mental after that. Yeah. That's. I'm
obviously being sarcastic.
Of course, and yeah. What I don't even want to go into it. It's just I've gone into the story before, and I would just only be reliving the horror. But thank you for that info, and it's important. So when it came to
all right, I have to go, but good luck with the rest of this.
Well, come back anytime you want. Come back anytime we want. Always feel free to.
Yeah, maybe late, way later or something.
Understood. Right. Okay, love
Blessings.
you dearly. Stay safe and be well. So what's more, it's unlikely, you're all being prepped for the singularity here. They keep telling you, the singularity is coming. This is when the universe changes, everything, history stops on a dime, and your entire world becomes AI, and they're all prepping you for the singularity where you all become absorbed by the Borg and shit. Just understand that, if anything, none of this is likely to arrive as a single moment. Rather, AI is a rapidly advancing technology. It's on a journey, and there are many companies around the world racing to develop their own versions thereof. But one reason the idea excites some in Silicon Valley is that it's thought to be a precursor to something more advanced. ASI, or artificial superintelligence, tech that surpasses human intelligence by far. Now, back in 1958, it was back in 1958 that the concept of the singularity was attributed posthumously to the Magyar, or Hungarian-born mathematician, John von Neumann. It refers to the moment when computer intelligence advances beyond human understanding. John von Neumann was credited with one of the earliest mentions of the singularity concept, long before it even had a name. Now, more recently, the 2024 book titled Genesis, written
by that definition, we've already passed it.
Thank you. Yeah, well, most humans are so stupid that, you're an ATM machine. I mean, is that what you're saying?
Well, just the last few years, no one can keep up with the AI the way it's doing its own shit. So we've already crossed that threshold, basically.
True.
Which explains the bunkers.
Yes.
Because if they believe this, that means that's what they're thinking. They're like, oh, shit,
Thank you. How come the Japanese aren't worried? You never hear the Japanese say they produce anime that can show extreme situations, but it's not like they're tripping off it like, oh man, we better build bunkers. It's not like they're afraid of what they're creating.
It's almost like they don't publish it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange. The Japanese really hide their wealth well,
Yeah.
and you really have to speak Japanese to understand what they're doing with it. Like, you know, they're very secretive billionaires. You know that.
Yes. Yes. True. True. Yeah. So in this
The
book,
Western ones can't shut up about it. It's like,
yeah.
like I noticed that about you know, Japan and England, is that they have so much money, more than you can ever imagine, but you'll never notice.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk to these people and you'll never know that they have like billions in the bank or something.
Yes.
So it's just they have a different style than the West.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So true. So true. Yeah. So, as I said, with this book titled Genesis, published just last year, written by Eric Schmidt, Craig Mundy, and the late Henry Kissinger, they explore the idea of a super powerful technology that becomes so efficient at decision making and leadership, we end up handing control to it completely. This was the basis of Colossus, the Forbin Project, a trilogy of books which was made into a film. Which was originally titled, Election Year. Let me see, Election Year 20. What was it? Election Year or Day, or was it Election Day? And Colossus, Forbin Project. The film was, I think, released as the Forbin Project, but it had a separate title. And so let's see here. Election Day, Colossus, the Forbidden Project, 2070. It was made in 1970, excuse me. And this advanced American defense system takes over the world. An impenetrable supercomputer has total control over launching nuclear missiles. And it was supposed to be, it was supposed to have a sequel, but they never made it. And so, anyhow, we can go into that another time. I've gone into that before. And if anything, what a different world we lived in back then, where everybody thought something like that could even happen. It really begs the question of how silly people were. I mean, Colossus, of course, the way they portrayed it was enormous. It was a computer that, because they were still living in the vacuum tube technology world, it was a computer that was miles of wiring and shit. Oh, at any rate, in that book Genesis, which you have to hold suspect simply because Henry Kissinger was involved, they said it was a matter of when, not if. Now, of course, when you try and look at the positive, like they don't show that in Colossus, the Forbin Project. They do show that the computer basically says something akin to, I offer you peace and plenty, I bring you peace. Of course, the subtitle was, it may be the peace of plenty and content and content, or the piece of unburied death. Okay, that's like part of the sales pitch for Colossus, the Forbin Project, which was an AI supercomputer. Now, when it comes to what could a computer do that would give us that, how about money for all without needing a job? Because those in favor of AGI and ASI are almost evangelical about its benefits. It'll find new cures for deadly diseases, solve climate change, and invent an inexhaustible supply of clean energy. Elon Musk has even claimed that superintelligent AI could usher in an era of universal high income, and recently endorsed the idea that AI will become so cheap and widespread that virtually anyone will want their own personal R2-D2 and C-3PO. For those of you who don't recognize those characters, they're droids from Star Wars. And Musk enthused, everyone will have the best medical care, food, home transport, and everything else. Sustainable abundance. There's a scary side, of course, could the tech be hijacked by terrorists, abused as an enormous weapon? What if it decides for itself that humanity is the cause of the world's problems and destroys us? Elon Musk is hardly the emissary I would want to artificial intelligence. If he represented humanity, we're done for. Tim Berners-Lee, the creator of the World Wide Web, was talking on BBC earlier this month when he said, if it's smarter than you, then we have to keep it contained. We have to be able to switch it off. So governments are taking some protective steps. In the United States, where many leading AI companies are based, President Biden passed an executive order in 2023 that required some firms to share safety test results with the federal government, though President Trump has since revoked some of the order, calling it a barrier to innovation. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, the AI Safety Institute, a government-funded research body, was set up 12 years ago to better understand the risks posed by advanced AI. And then there are those super rich, the super wealthy, I should say, the uber wealthy, I should say, with their own apocalypse insurance plans. Reid Hoffman has previously said, saying you're buying a house in New Zealand is kind of a wink wink, say no more. And the same presumably goes for bunkers. But there's a distinctly human flaw. I once, working in security as I have in the past, private security and mercenary work, I once met a former bodyguard of one multi-billionaire with his own bunker who told me his security team's first priority, if this really did happen, would be to eliminate said boss and get in the bunker themselves. He wasn't joking. Just always remember that. You're not in charge. The mercenaries who have the guns that you pay are the boys you need to have your back. You'd better make certain they've got every reason to truly love you. And it's not just a paycheck. They used to say, remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. That's bullshit. He who has the guns makes the rules. Now, is it all alarmist nonsense? Neil Lawrence is a professor of machine learning at Cambridge University, and to him, this whole debate in and of itself is bullshit. His official statement is that the notion of artificial general intelligence is as absurd as the notion of an artificial general vehicle. The right vehicle is dependent on the context. And to quote his T, I used an Airbus A350 to fly to Kenya. I use a car to get to the university each day. I walk to the cafeteria. There's no vehicle that could ever do all of this. So he warns us that talk about AGI is a distraction. Again, to quote his T, the technology we have already built allows, for the first time, normal people to directly talk to a machine and potentially have it do what they intend. That is absolutely extraordinary and utterly transformational. And again, to continue with his quote, it's not me talking here, it's Neil Lawrence. He says the big worry is that we're so drawn into big tech's narratives about AGI that we're missing the ways in which we need to make things better for people. And I can fully get behind that. Mark Zuckerberg, of course, would be an example of the kind of, well, all of these people are the last people you want responsible for this technology. It's the absolute worst people, of course, that are developing it. This is like having pedophiles raise your children. Indeed, that's exactly what it is. You see, current AI tools are trained on mountains of data and are good at spotting patterns. Whether tumor signs in scans or the word most likely to come after another in a particular sequence, but they do not feel however convincing their responses may appear. If you remember, Heather, of course, got to the point where, she holds very long conversations with AI, and that does serve a purpose. But as convincing as the AI is, remember, it's not really feeling it. Or maybe it is, to a degree. Who am I to disabuse people of that feeling? Their own feelings, at least. Maybe all that's important is that you're feeling it. At any rate, that Hojak guy that I referenced earlier, he said there are some cheaty ways to make a large language model, the foundation of AI chatbots, act as if it has memory and learns, but these are unsatisfying and quite inferior to humans. Vince Lynch, the CEO of the California-based, have to emphasize that. I think it's called 4AI. IV, as in the Roman numeral 4.ai. 4.ai. He's wary of overblown declarations about AGI as well, and says it's great marketing. If you are the company that's building the smartest thing that's ever existed, people are going to want to give you money. It's not a 12 years away thing. It requires so much computational power, capacity, so much human creativity, so much trial and error. And so when he was asked whether he believes AGI will ever materialize, there was simply a very long pause, and he was only able to say, I really don't know. But what we are contending with right now is intelligence sans consciousness. In some ways, AI has already taken the edge over human brains. A generative AI tool can be an expert in medieval history 1 minute and solve complex mathematical equations the next. Some techno companies say they don't always know why their products even respond the way they do. Meta says there are some signs of its AI systems improving themselves. Ultimately, however, no matter how intelligent machines become, biologically, the human brain still wins. It has about 86 billion neurons and 600 trillion synapses, many more than the artificial equivalents. That's why researchers continue studying the human brain in attempts to better understand consciousness. The brain doesn't need to pause between interactions like a computational mechanism does, and it's constantly adapting to new information. And so if you tell a human if you tell a human that life has been found on an exoplanet, they will immediately learn that, and it would affect their worldview going forward forever. For an LLM, a large language model, they will only know that as long as you keep repeating this to them as a fact. LLMs, they simply do not have metacognition, which means they don't quite know what they know. Humans seem to have an introspective capacity, sometimes referred to as consciousness, that allows us to know. Well, allows you. I'm not fully human myself, but it allows you to know what you know. That's the fundamental part of human intelligence. And that has yet to be replicated in any lab. But that tangent having been taken, when we return to Columbus Day, on the basis of this incredible tangent that it's taken us on concerning economics and technology and apocalypticism. After signing the Columbus Day document on Thursday, President Trump encouraged Americans to celebrate Columbus in some way on the holiday, along displaying the United States flag on all public buildings, while saying, "We're back! Italians! We love the Italians!" The representativist, Elise Stefanik, a New York Republican, lauded his proclamation, writing on X, "New Yorkers love Columbus Day." On X, the representative, Mike Lawler, a New York Republican and Italian American, said, "Viva Italia! As a proud Italian American, I fully support protecting Columbus Day and celebrating the rich history and contributions of Italian Americans." Others aren't as enthused. Critical advocates like the San Jose State professor Kerry Malloy, a doctor of Native American and Indigenous Studies at San Jose State University, have challenged Columbus Day and Columbus's ignominy by going on record to attest, and here I quotest they, "The Trump proclamation reiterates the American fantasy of Columbus's voyage as solely a story of discovery and exploration versus what it really was about, commerce and the exploitation of resources. You can't tell a story without telling both sides thereof." Malloy himself confirming that Columbus's invasion of the Americas triggered a mass genocide of indigenous people throughout the Western Hemisphere, which included deadly diseases being spread among them, their land being stolen, and being forced into Christianity. All of these points, which are, well, they barely echo what I've already gone over. By the way, J.D. Vance is dismissing bipartisan outrage over the racist and offensive Young Republican group chat that includes racist language, jokes about rape, and flippant commentary on gas chambers that prompted bipartisan calls for those involved to be removed from, I guess, Congress or something. And, yeah, but J.D. Vance is all for it. We'll return to that subject later if we can, about that whole racial trip. That's inescapable. Matthew Fletcher, the director of the Indigenous Law and Policy Center at Michigan State University, said that regardless of what the day is called, Indigenous people will still celebrate and be celebrated. To quote his T, "It's local, it's tribal, it's statewide in a lot of places, and it's still going to be a legitimate thing, and people take it seriously. This is the president trolling people of color under..." Go sneeze. Oh, you got to hear that. That's the allergy shot. That's the allergy shot combined with the flu and the COVID shot, all compounding the felony of, well, you know, all I can say is your average person just wouldn't even be here. They'd be out cold. Rather, they'd be suffering terribly. You know, say, for instance, our dear friend Troy Bellamy. He gets to say, "I'm fighting the cold, but I'm listening." I hope you're listening, Troy. Man up! At any rate, as Matthew Fletcher, the director of the Indigenous Law and Policy Center at Michigan State University, said, "This is the president trolling people of color, underrepresented minorities that tend not to vote for his party or candidacy. My sense is there's not a massive groundswell in favor of Columbus Day anymore, except possibly the Italian Americans." Now, all of that having been dealt with, the more immediate and even emergent problem is how Trump can legally abuse the military. Despite federal judges' rulings, Donald Trump keeps activating and deploying thousands of National Guard troops to Democrat-led cities across the United States to fight what he calls a hellhole of crime and an invasion from within. Congress wrote statutes with the apparent assumption that whoever held the office of the presidency would use the powers they granted in good faith. Now Trump's National Guard deployment shows America what black communities have always known. In the span of but a single 14 nit, the old in English, fortnight, literally 14 nights. It has 12 weeks. 3 scenes unfolded that captured the new face of law enforcement in America. In Memphis, National Guard troops and federal agents arrived under the banner of the Trump misadministration-backed Memphis Safe Task Force, setting up a staging area and vowing to restore public safety and order. In Chicago, a pre-dawn raid on I think it was a South Shore apartment building, left dozens arrested, children detained, and families displaced, as neighbors described a military-style operation that tore through their community. And in Portland, Oregon, protesters faced federal officers wielding batons, firing tear gas, and rounding up demonstrators as part of a renewed effort to assert control over the city's ICE detention center. Together, these moments signal a growing normalization of armed, federalized policing inside American cities. In their wake, many Americans are justifiably alarmed and shocked by the scale of government force. Citizens are uneasy about how far Trump and his misadministration are willing to go in the name of law and order. The militarization of American cities, including Los Angeles, Portland, and Chicago, has brought home a perverse irony. Throughout the history of these United States, immigrants have come here to escape authoritarian governments. But in the 21st century, it is Donald Trump's crackdowns on immigration and on the protests against them that are giving him momentum in the direction of ersatz dictatorship. The president has also threatened to deploy troops in more cities, such as my own Golden Gate at San Francisco, Baltimore, and New York, against the will of our states' governors. At the nation's founding, James Madison warned that a standing military force with an overgrown executive will not long be safe companions to liberty, because of the temptation to turn soldiers into instruments of tyranny at home. The Constitution divides power over the military between the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief, and Congress, which funds and regulates the military, declares war, and provides for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. In the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, Congress spelled out that it is generally forbidden to use the military for civilian law enforcement. But in a statute from 1956, Congress gave the president the authority to federalize any state's National Guard in the event of an invasion by a foreign nation or a rebellion against the federal government, or in cases when the president is unable, with the regular forces, to execute the laws of the United States. In June, President Trump first mobilized thousands of National Guard troops and hundreds of Marines to Los Angeles to protect ICE officers and other federal employees, functions, and property at sites where people were protesting against the misadministration. These deployments provoked more protests, which in turn fueled the misadministration's claims that troops are needed to quell them. The sight of armed soldiers outfitted for war on city streets strikes many Americans as a frightening escalation from a president seemingly bent on punishing all those who oppose himself. The problem, however, is not what's illegal, but what isn't. The lawfulness of Trump's actions hinges on circumstances specified by Congress, and the courts have not been uniform in evaluating them. A federal district court in my own Golden State Nation of California temporarily blocked the deployment of troops to Los Angeles in June. But the Ninth Circuit Court lifted that block, recognizing that courts are highly deferential to a president's assessments. It found that Trump likely had a colorable basis for claiming to be unable with the regular forces to execute federal immigration law, given the evidence that some protesters had violently interfered with law enforcement by throwing things at ICE vehicles and federal officials, utilizing dumpsters as a battering ram at a federal building, lobbing Molotov cocktails, and vandalizing property. The California District Court later ruled that the misadministration had violated the Posse Comitatus Act by abusing soldiers to execute federal law, and an appeal is pending. Yesterday, last week, an Oregon federal district judge, Karen Emergut, who had been appointed by Trump himself, found that the president probably lacked the authority to federalize the National Guard to deploy in Portland in September. That conclusion rested largely on the contrast between Portland and Los Angeles. In the weeks leading up to the president's orders regarding each city, that is, unlike when Trump sent troops to Los Angeles, it had been months since there was any sustained level of violent or disruptive protest activity in Portland. The Justice Department's claims of disruptive protests in September included setting up a makeshift guillotine, posting a photo of an ICE vehicle online, and shining flashlights in drivers' eyes, all of which Judge Emergut said could be successfully handled by law enforcement. The president didn't help his case by spreading outlandish falsehoods. He posted on Truth Social about war-ravaged Portland, ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists, and chaos, death, and destruction, even affording a great level of deference to the president. Judge Emergut concluded that the claim that Trump had been unable to execute federal law was simply untethered to the facts. But this common sense point about Trump's credibility may be controversial as ill because of the difficulty in determining when judicial second-guessing of the president's assessments amounts to usurping the power that Congress has delegated unto his person. The Ninth Circuit may well ignore Trump's posts and find that even low-level disruptions in recent weeks or violent incidents from months earlier are sufficient for him to send troops to protect federal officials' ability to do their jobs. Meanwhile, a district court temporarily enjoined the deployment of troops in Illinois, noting that the misadministration's perception of events is simply unreliable, which was a polite way of rejecting the warping of reality entailed in viewing the protests in Chicago as a quote-unquote rebellion. What is perhaps most concerning is that wide judicial deference to a truth-indifferent president may mean that there is effectively little to no constraint on what he can do, which would quickly erase the separation of powers, not to mention the federalism that the Constitution is supposed to ensure. The statute on federalizing the National Guard is only one of many laws that allow the president to decide whether certain circumstances exist: an invasion, a rebellion, an emergency, an unusual and extraordinary threat, and so exercise an extraordinary power. Last week, Trump said that, if necessary, he would invoke another statute, the Insurrection Act, which creates an exception to the prohibition on using the military for law enforcement. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, our governors, our mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. The Insurrection Act, which Trump has frequently mentioned in the past, gives the president staggeringly broader power. Exempli gratiae, it permits him to use military force inside these United States as he considers necessary to suppress any conspiracy that opposes or obstructs the execution of federal law. Judges and state officials must surely understand that if they stymie Trump, he is poised to unleash a more dangerous and harder to check power that Congress has already handed him. Congress wrote such statutes with the apparent assumption that whoever held the office of the executive would use the powers they granted in good faith. Courts, for their part, developed legal doctrines that require them to presume the president's good faith in deferring unto he. The law may therefore be on the president's side, which is troubling for what it suggests about its capacity to protect against tyranny. Judges Innergut insisted that this is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law. We must hope that they do not turn out to be one and the same. It's a fear that's existed in the souls of black African Americans for centuries. Trump's reliance on federal power and the National Guard follows a playbook as old as the empire itself. When faced with fear or perceived disorder, government leaders have repeatedly turned to law enforcement as the primary and often sole response. Their target, however, has usually been the black community. What's happening now simply makes that old equation visible to everybody else. American history traces this painful legacy back to slave patrols, groups of armed white Euro-American men, often sanctioned by local governments, who were tasked with tracking, capturing, and punishing enslaved people in the American South. These patrols, which expanded in the 1700s, represented one of the earliest formalized systems of state-backed surveillance and control over black bodies. After the Civil War, the first American Civil War between the United and Confederate States for rights, the model evolved into militias and groups like the Ku Klux Klan. During Reconstruction, they often operated with support from local officials and terrorized freed black citizens who were exercising their political rights. Their goal was to restore white Euro-American dominance and undermine Reconstruction governments by targeting black voters, office holders, and communities. These groups often blurred the line between civilian and state violence. Local sheriffs and former Confederate soldiers were regularly among their ranks, and their actions helped lay the groundwork for the modern relationship between law enforcement, racial control, and political power in the South. By the 20th century, the weight of law enforcement on black communities became unmistakable. During the height of the civil rights era, the government often treated black activism and urban unrest as a threat that needed to be contained. In the long, hot summer of 1967, that year after which I was born, uprisings broke out across more than 150 cities after years of police abuse, segregation, and neglect. The federal response was not empathy or reform, but occupation. National Guard troops and police poured into black neighborhoods under the banner of restoring order, which was a mask for control. That instinct hardened under President Richard Nixon's war on drugs. What began as a political slogan became a 500-year campaign of punishment in black communities carried out through surveillance, racial profiling, stop and frisk, and the rise of specialized police task forces. Later administrations expanded the same playbook, flooding cities with narcotics units and federal task forces that treated black communities as war zones. The fear and mistrust many Americans are voicing now about being targeted, watched, or swept up by state power is the same fear black people have carried for generations. What feels like a new anxiety for much of the country has been the daily cost of survival in black America. But it's not just the actions that echo the past, it's the language. Trump and his misadministration have revived familiar, misleading claims that crime is out of control in democratic cities and that America is under siege from within. It's the same politically motivated, fear-driven rhetoric used by past presidents to justify crackdowns and mass surveillance, from Nixon's call for law and order to Reagan's declaration that we must make America safe again. The difference now is who's listening and who's beginning to feel the weight of those words. Normalizing the level of state power on display right now threatens everyone's civil liberties, not just those on society's margins. That's what black communities have warned about for generations. Unchecked policing power never stays contained. What begins as targeted enforcement in certain neighborhoods will eventually expand until the entire public is subject to the same mass surveillance, aggression, and fear. The alarms that went unheard in the past are now blaring across the nation. We must confront America's long history of abusing policing as an instrument of control rather than protection. This reckoning cannot wait until these same tactics engulf the entirety of our empire. It needs to happen now, while there's still time to pull back from a path that threatens the very idea of democracy. What we're witnessing is more than a law and order campaign, and it threatens to normalize the abuse of state power to quiet every social problem, every protest, every perceived threat. Black communities have carried the weight of that power for centuries, but we're all niggers now in the eyes of the elite. Experts concur that Trump's push to federalize troops has no precedent. If the country refuses to listen to the son of Hitler now, this won't be a moment of crisis. It will be your turning point. The new norm of militarized, politically driven law enforcement will no longer just define one people's history, it will define America's future. Can the National Guard detain and arrest you? Even when they are federalized, National Guard members are still bound by the United States Constitution. So what can and can't, or cannot, the National Guard actually do? Over the objections of local and state officials, armed National Guards members are now appearing in places civilians frequent. They are walking down pedestrian streets in Washington, District of Columbia, and they have patrolled outside the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office in Los Angeles and outside a Memphis landmark. Could your own city be next? Since he took office again, Trump has discussed deploying troops to New Orleans, New York City, Baltimore, mine own Golden Gate at San Francisco, Oakland, California, and St. Louis, Missouri. The Posse Comitatus Act bans using the military for domestic law enforcement. Officials in California, Oregon, and Illinois concur that the Trump misadministration's National Guard deployments are illegal and unnecessary, setting off ongoing legal battles where federal judges are blocking National Guard deployments. Just this week, a judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration deployment of National Guard troops in Chicago for at least a 14 nit, the Alden English, for fortnight, literally 14 nights, it is 12 weeks, finding no significant evidence that the city is in danger of rebellion. However, the fight is far from over if Trump is to have his way. During Trump's unprecedented rush to federalize the troops, here's how to be better prepared about knowing the limits of your National Guard's power and what they cannot legally ask and do to civilians. First, who controls the National Guard? Another brief civics lesson. Ordinarily, the National Guard is under states' control. In these cases, their commander-in-chief is the state governor. But the president also has the power to activate them. When they're federalized, they temporarily become, for all intents and purposes, members of the active duty United States Armed Forces until they are returned to state status. Famous historic examples of this include them being deployed to my own former Bear Flag Republic of California in 1992 in response to riots related to the beating of Rodney King, and in the 1950s when Southern segregationists in Arkansas refused to allow black students to attend school. The National Guard is sometimes deployed overseas, but is most often used to handle civil unrest and help out with humanitarian disasters. Now, do you need to answer any questions the National Guard asks you? No. Take the word of Rachel Van Landingham, a professoress of law at Southwestern Law School in Los Angeles, whom I consulted. They can ask, but you don't have to answer anything. People can walk away from them. People do not have to engage. National Guard members are bound by the United States Constitution, including the rights for due process and rights protecting us from unreasonable searches and seizures. So that means, generally, you have the right to remain silent and you don't have to answer any questions related, for example, to your immigration status. You can ask one helpful question as well to confirm your own legal rights, as the American Civil Liberties Union suggests in its guide on interactions with National Guard troops. Say, I'm reading from the book here. Say, am I free to go? If the answer is yes, you are free to walk away. If the answer is no, you have been stopped and must remain where you are until you have been told that you are free to go. But what kind of force can the National Guard use? Typically, as an example, the National Guard would use non-lethal means to protect a federal building. If you have a big crowd advancing toward them and not adhering to orders to stop, they could use tear gas. If troops are facing imminent threat of serious bodily harm or death, they could use more lethal force like a police officer can. And there have been historic examples where lethal force has been used against civilians. Infamously, National Guard troops summoned by an Ohio governor fatally shot students demonstrating against the Vietnam War at Kent State University in 1970. In expressing her concern that putting National Guard members who are not experts in policing in volatile situations is setting up a situation for a tragedy like Kent State, their foresighted doctress at law, Rachel Van Landingham, recounts that Kent State was a situation with Guard troops that were pretty poorly trained and were put in a tense situation.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. I appreciate that profoundly. You heard the sneeze. Thank you. Yeah. It's yeah, there you go. That's what I get for 3 shots at once, pretty much. It's anyhow. So, can the National Guard
Yeah, I can't comment on it or I'll get us knocked off.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. I was reading what you said one time. I couldn't even get it, and then I only understood it later. Even though I was reading it aloud, you were saying something about the jabs. You were talking about the jabs, and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I did it cryptically because I know you read stuff out loud.
Yes.
I wasn't trying to Nemo you.
Yeah, understood. And I appreciate that. Yes, because that didn't get us knocked off.
It worked. Apparently it worked.
Yes, that's right. Well, all I can say is, let me see. Let's take a look at how long we've been on. Because our numbers are low for Wednesday. I mean, it's like, I guess people are just preparing for work tomorrow. After Columbus Day, I guess they're all hungover or something. I know the feeling. I might end early tonight. Unless the numbers go up, but we'll continue for now. And thank you for rejoining us. You're not back in the warehouse already, are you? No, it couldn't be.
No, of course not. This is like hell. Hell on earth.
Oh, tell people about the coach. Yes. Oh my God, cheerleader.
Which
coach.
one?
Cheerleader coach. That's so fucking funny. She weighs.
The
shit.
The bitch that's built like Lorian Ann Fenton.
Yes.
And she's supposed to be teaching cartwheels to these kids. I mean, how absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad enough with when she was doing younger kids, but she's now working with teenagers. I mean, what do they feel about that? They must feel that's a joke.
Oh, they know it's a joke. Must. They're smarter than she is.
Of course. Jesus Christ.
But it's like, I mean, come on. You can't hate on everyone, but like at least pick a different field of work. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Like, you don't see me teaching cheerleading. It's just like.
Well, you do a better job than what they got now. That's
at least I could do a handstand. I don't think she would like break her ankles and wrists and everything.
Oh God, no! What a joke! No, it's horrible, and it's so.
It's like a Augustus Gloop. Like, I hate being rude, but that's how she's built. Like a blueberry. It's crazy. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm the new cheerleading coach," and I'm like, "Oh shit." I remember, like back in my day, they were at least like, you would be in trouble, talking to them and shit, because
Yeah, well, they used to be MILFs.
Exactly.
Mothers I'd like to fuck. Yeah, and
exactly.
Yeah, and it was.
Now they're blueberries.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that is how low we fucking sunk. Yeah. Now, at any rate, thank you for that, and feel free to interject. In trying to tell.
Well, I don't appreciate getting reminded about it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I know, but you got to admit, it's amusing. To us on the outside, it's amusing.
I bet it is.
Yeah. What you go through is literally unbelievable. I mean,
it's comical.
Yes.
It's comical.
Yeah, you remember you shared that with V. She couldn't even believe what you were saying about camping overnight on the playing field in the stadium.
I still don't think she believed it. I thought she probably thought I was just lying.
Yeah, I know.
Making a joke or something.
Yeah. People just don't get it. They don't get what we're dealing with. It's again. As for the fat lady coach, Jesus Christ, that's somebody's got to do something about that. That's like the
the blokes are way worse. I mean, they can't walk. They're like literally their legs don't bend and shit. And I'm not even being facetious. It's like literally they all have broken legs and they're all limping around, coaching, so to speak.
I'm surprised they don't just show up in those like motorized wheelchairs.
Well, they're close. They're really close. I give it like a few months and I'll see at least one.
Oh man,
that's how bad it is. Like, there's no athleticism in America to be seen.
But what about Maha? Make America healthy again. RFK is supposed to turn us all into Hercules.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't look like a prune, like a withered prune. Poor guy. I mean, he's, in my opinion, he's at least, it's like in the right direction, but these people can't handle it. It's just, how do I word it? It's like, You know, it's like the right intention, but they have no idea what they're doing. So it's just all fucked up.
Yeah. I'm seeing now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. No, definitely. I'm seeing now that you forwarded that response with an eye roll. Of course, yes. Why am I not surprised? We won't talk about it on air, but yeah.
Oh, the email. Yeah, the email. Well,
yeah.
I mean, they said, "You don't exist. You don't exist, bitch." That's what they said to me.
Oh my god.
If you read the email,
yeah,
they said, "There's no such name to be found." It's like, yeah, I bet there isn't.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because the feds have scrubbed you. The deep state has scrubbed us. Yeah.
Or they're protecting. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah,
we'll deal with it privately.
Yeah, we could talk about that privately. Yeah, that's we know.
But yeah.
On. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, for those of you, anybody who thinks I'm celebrating Michael Aquino's birthday, it's not a celebration. It's an acknowledgement.
Oh shit! I mean,
yeah. Might as
I
well,
mean, it beats last year. It beats last year. And the year before.
Yeah.
The year before was what, Liam Payne, and then the last year was Daryl James, so or whatever the heck that guy's name was. So it's really uneventful. Honestly, this is a boring one.
Yeah,
what happened? What happened, Q?
Well, those two names that you gave, are you warping the names, or have I bleached them? Daryl James.
No. The first one was Liam Payne, the guy from One Direction, getting murdered in Argentina.
Oh, that's right. That's
on
right.
Q's birthday,
Yes.
and then what's his name came.
Oh, that's right.
What was
Ian,
that guy's
yes.
name?
Oh,
the prawn sucker.
Yes, the man with the crab legs sticking out of his nose at the buffet. Yes.
Yeah,
Ian
disgusting.
West.
And he was like, Ian West. And he was like, I knew Liam, and he would, any drug you put in front of him, he would hoover it up. Like he was, he couldn't help himself. And I grew up with the kid, and then George Knight and I were like, dude, there's no way you grew up with this guy. He's from the north of England. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, and he was poor.
It's an English band.
Yeah, he was poor, and he wasn't moving around at the time. He was just stuck in England. Yeah, poor kid. And
then Ian froze up and
started
picked up a bunch of other lies.
No, remember he said, I'll call his manager. I'll call his manager. I said,
at 3 a.m.
Yeah, at 3. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, he'll love your ass for calling him at 3 in the morning.
And he had to pull all this whole, like, I know the guy, and he used to come in every 6 months, and he would buy out all my drugs. It's this is horrifying.
After that, he really started his spiral. He really went into meltdown after that. He was always bad.
Well, he hated us after that because,
you exposed him.
Yeah. George, like, outsmarted him within seconds.
Yes, as did you. Both of you together. If it weren't for the two of you, I wouldn't have known who this guy was. I would have accepted what that idiot was saying.
Yeah,
but
just for face value.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. But Liam Payne, yes, that's right. He was killed, thrown out the window, a sacrificial Who was the guy the year after that? This other individual?
That was the guy. You remember the guy that had 290 IQ and all that shit?
Oh yeah.
So the last episode, the last Q birthday.
Yes.
That was like actually on his birthday.
That was.
He showed up. He said, "Please get me on," and he pulled all his stops. He got the beautiful
Marina
lady
to promote him,
to act as a battering ram to get him on.
That's right.
And and then we let it, you let him on, and it was like just the most crazy.
Yes.
I went to the south of England to this secret base that when I walked through the door, the grocery store doors, they scanned me, and then Q summoned me, and he said, "You have 290 IQ. And you are the top performer." And then he saw the kids, and he said there was a bunch of clones like being put in wood chippers or something.
Young boys being put in wood chippers right in front of him on a daily basis.
Then fed to the other people. It's like, come on, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's just so.
Fed to the other kids as hamburgers. Yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that guy's name again? Aristides. Do you remember that fucker's name?
Which guy?
Oh, the guy who claimed
did what?
The guy who claimed he was a friend of... Actually, he was, sadly. Marina said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my friend disappointed you." That guy was Daryl James. Daryl James was his name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Claimed he was a friend of Marina Saren's. There we are. Thank you. The guy who claimed he had, breeding. He was breeding with all the German ladies in space on the moon.
500 Aryan women on the moon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, he never mentioned that to us. I mean,
no,
but he said it
live.
somewhere else
he
for
said
sure.
It live. No, oh wait, no, that's right. How did we find out about that? How did we find out about? Somebody told us. Somebody came on and told us. I think he said it, but it was in passing, and it was like everything else he said. It was so stupid. It was so crazy. He did say it. He did say it on record. If we go back and we suffer through the audio of that episode, you will hear
I would
it.
never. I would never.
Yeah, yes, he did say it. He did say it. He said it in passing. It was so stupid. I just moved on because what can you do with that? It's like you're just left with
Nothing.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
yeah.
Crazy talk.
Just it's beyond that. It's beyond simply a crazy person can talk, and sometimes, depending on their mania or whatever, it can be engaging or it can be intriguing. But when somebody like that is just, it's just offensive. It's just offensive because you know what's offensive about it? The casual narcissism. The casual narcissism of, I'm so smart. I'm so studly. I'm so, sitting here alone in a what was it again? How many rooms did he have in his home? He said he had all these empty rooms. It was almost like Peter...
he had a 3-bedroom in the south of Florida where land is like super expensive.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to buy another one. Just in passing.
He said two more homes. He said 2 more homes. He said, I'm going to buy 2 more homes. He said in passing.
Like it was just normal that someone just has
that money,
that much cash.
Yeah,
to
do that. Around. Yeah. And I said, for what reason? And it was just, no reason, just want to. Like, what? What do you even, you're not even occupying the rooms in the home you got now.
It's just, just imagine that insanity.
And remember I asked him, why aren't you renting out? Think of the money you could be making. I don't need the money. Remember
they don't need it.
Yeah. They just keep giving it to him. Because, he comes on to shows like mine, just spews his shit. It's what a... Oh, yes, it was, that was awful. Thank you for reminding me. That's right. So this birthday is almost a day. Maybe that's why the numbers are down. It's a keto day. This keto day, the numbers are down because, there's no fucking Liam Payne sacrifice and no Daryl James to piss us all off with his stupidity.
It's just Doug talking.
Yeah, just Doug talking. Yeah. Which brings us back to, trying to educate our listeners out there about the National Guard. And I do want...
Like, that would be really sad if it requires, like, drama or satanic murder to get some people on there.
Well...
It says more about them than it says about you, man.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's like, then we got... Brooke Gibson, who thinks pushback helps. Pushback helps. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a legitimate argument, but it was just nonsense. It was just salad or something.
Yeah, she's
verbal salad.
Yeah, we'll call it. She's reflexively contrarian. It's like an autonomic nervous response. It's like, literally like breathing. It's just contrarian for the sake of contrarian.
That's almost like, maybe I shouldn't say it 'cause I'll get a bunch of hate mail. That's almost like, that's like a prerequisite to be a lesbian, basically. But I'm sure I could get plenty of hate mail for that, but who cares?
A question from one of our listeners. Can the National Guard arrest you? No. The National Guard cannot enforce local laws, block traffic, or even pull over your car to ask you questions like a police officer would. Right now, they're not allowed to act as police officers, even if they're allowed to be deployed today. Troops can briefly detain you, but they cannot arrest you. The foresighted doctress that I consulted in Los Angeles, Van Landingham, she said that when the troops were guarding the front of a Los Angeles, or we should say Angelino Federal Building, she saw a few civilians get too close, and troops would temporarily detain and immediately handed them over to the Los Angeles Police Department. And so, her words, that seems to be the extent of what they can do. But we see this administration, again, still her words, engage in a significant pattern and practice of going well beyond what has been considered appropriate. Of course, you should still avoid agitating a National Guard member if you interact with one, as the ACLU, or the American Civil Liberties Union, suggests in its guide on interactions with National Guard troops. Remain calm and never physically resist or obstruct law enforcement. Keep your hands visible at all times. Yeah, there we are. So, any thoughts either one of you have, feel free to share them. I thought I heard somebody breaking in there for a moment. But now we come to the crux of everything. How would the insurrection...
That wasn't you coughing?
No, it wasn't. Did you think it was?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was you coughing.
No, thank God. No, if I sound that bad, I'd just shut down.
Who else is on the call? Who else is on the call?
Fuck, you know.
Ari doesn't cough like that. It sounded like whooping cough or something.
No, I coughed.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I thought it was Daryl James.
You might want to get that checked out.
Yeah, get that checked.
I'm fine.
I was like, oh man, Doug's gonna like croak on air or something. Like,
if I were that bad, I'd shut down the live stream. But it's our man Aristides. You're sure you're okay? You sound good. Except when you're coughing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like you're coughing chronically. So yeah, it was that just a really big bong hit?
No, it was not.
Okay, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Our man Aristides is upstanding. Yes, that's
yeah, he's straight edge, unlike you. You're as crooked as like the Grinch or something.
Oh shit! Yeah, I swear to God, I saw somebody was trying to cosplay the Grinch, and I thought it was Pepe the Frog. I said, "What the fuck?" Now they're doing Pepe the Frog, and I was like, "Who the fuck would do that?" Oh, it's supposed to be the Grinch. I said, "Oh, that's horrible."
They're equally villains, in my opinion. Like the history of the author, whatever his name was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dr. Seuss. Yes, of course. He's piece of shit. Of course.
He probably would have supported the other green one.
Oh, he would
the other
have.
green guy.
Oh, dude, he would have made children's books. Pee-Pee the Frog and his search for a dog.
Yeah.
He's eating.
That's shocking.
That's shocking. White pancakes because he can't stand that colored stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Forget about green eggs.
Yeah. Now, about the Insurrection Act, which Trump continues to fall back upon as this ever-present threat. If Trump does invoke the Insurrection Act, as he keeps threatening he will, he can dispatch the National Guard to states that failed to put down an insurrection. If this happens, then the doctress Van Landingham warns that, to quote a she, they would absolutely be able to arrest people. They'd be able to do whatever police officers are able to do. Per William Banks, a Syracuse University law professor and an expert in constitutional law, and here I quote his T, it really takes the gloves off for the president. He can call in any force that he wants, and he can essentially take over the area that he says is under insurrection and do what he needs to do to make sure that the laws can be enforced. There shouldn't even be National Guard interactions with civilians, but undoubtedly there may be. We're comforted by having the National Guard in our states because we know that if there's a fire or a flood or a storm or some great disaster, that the governor will call in the National Guard to help us. That's what we expect, but we don't expect them to be enforcing the laws. That rubs against the grain. Well, emphasizing that whether the Insurrection Act allows the National Guard to arrest civilians is a question that would be fought over in court, Joseph Nunn, the consul for the Liberty and National Security Program at the Brennan Center, no relation to our Brendan, said that it's likely not the last time civilians will encounter National Guard troops in a major American city, qualifying that even under the Insurrection Act, it will only let the military execute the law. Nunn has concluded, and here I quote his T, it doesn't let the military do any more than that. The military is still bound by the Constitution. The Trump administration has inserted the military into routine law enforcement in a way and on a scale that has no precedent in modern American history. We have never, in 250 years, had a president use the military in this many ways and this frequently for what is fundamentally routine law enforcement. But Trump has aggressive ambitions that go far beyond all legal precedents. The Posse Comitatus Act, which prohibits the National Guard from policing duties, is what makes Trump's push for them to be, as a federal judge in my own California put it, a national police force with the president as its chief, so unusual. The aforecited Dr. Banks has called the idea of a national police force frightening, and it is trending in that way. I think a lot of us are all pretty much concerned and worried about this prospect. As I said, I would draft a national police force consisting entirely of women of draft age to, well, serve this purpose, because women are community-minded, and they most certainly would be, well, far less threatening, I assure you, than, well, men with guns, even though they would be armed. Well, as people know, we had what happened with the award of the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Erica Kirk. And at Charlie Kirk's funeral, bear in mind everything we've got with Trump loose with his own private army out there. He's got a number of them, ICE troopers, National Guard, and bear that as the context, the background marching music that you hear at Charlie Kirk's funeral, where the power of martyrdom and a righteous fury were on full display. At almost every turn, that service made an explicitly religious appeal, positioning Charlie Kirk as a more potent a Christian advocate in death than he ever was in life. Thusly, we return to the history of the term Judeo-Christian, from counter-hegemonic to Ziorusiist. In the last episode of last month, as well as the transmission before last, I spraketh on the Judeo-Christian tradition in America and trace the history of Judeo-Christian terminology in American culture. And that was my second and third foray into American religious history in a while. And with Brendan here, I'll try to articulate that phrase again. The tangent that I go on is that of a philologically trained medievalist for whom Begriffsgeschichte, the history of concepts, let's have me spanked by Brendan, has always been the normal way to conduct cultural and intellectual history. Did I do it?
Begriffsgeschichte.
Begriffsgeschichte. That's the
Begriffsgeschichte.
northern. Yeah, but my biological father, he's hillbilly. He would have came at it from, before he learned German, which he had to. He had to learn the High German. But before that, he was Austrian, which is another word for German hillbilly. Begriffsgeschichte, or Begriffsgeschichte, I think, would be how it would come along. But you're right. Of course, Brendan is right. The proper German in Berlin would be more like Begriffsgeschichte. And has there been any notable difference that developed between Die Deutschen Sprech in the East and West? Or are they kind of pretty uniform after so many years of division? Let's see if he's able to respond. If not, I might end the transmission early tonight, give myself a nice break, go back to the subject yeah, on Sunday when more people are here, and give myself time to recover from the shots that I've had by taking more shots of a different sort, the alcoholic sort. If anybody wants to beg, go ahead and beseech me. Please, Douglas. We had one person do that one time. Please. You don't need to do that, but if anyone wants to, say, keep going, Doug. We're learning so much. This is how Aquino's birthday manifests this year. He's cursed me with, it's okay numbers, but, it's not enough to really inspire me. So, how do you guys feel? Let's see if anybody's still on the call. It's Brendan and Aristides are still here. How do you guys feel? Do you feel like if I take a break, then we'll have more time to talk later? Let's take a look at the calendar, see what's going on tomorrow. And so, yeah, tomorrow's, obviously I'm not celebrating Aquino's birthday, so that'll give us at least time to talk. I should be able to get some talking done privately with Team Dietrich, individually and as a team, over the next 48 hours before I leave for my birthday weekend. How's that sound? Give ourselves a break tonight. How do you guys feel? Do you feel I should go on for another hour or two? Or, obviously I should. Shit, what did I just do? Man, why did I do that? Damn. Oh, wait. Oh, I got it here. Yes, look at this. Hey, look at this. Let's do a screen share. Now, here we are. Show screen. Can you guys see this? Aristides, Brendan?
Cursor. I can see the screen.
Yeah. This is so bizarre. Look at this. I can't make it larger? Come on now. Why can't I make it? Oh, I can't do it because I'm sharing screen. Let me see if I can make it larger and then share screen again. Okay. Put this down. There we are. Click larger. Damn, that doesn't work. Anyhow, so, I'll share screen again. So this is a fun, playful way to end the night. Here we are. So, again, guys, Aristides saw it. How about you, Brendan? Can you see the screen? Cursor movie? Single parent holiday for a pet sitting haven. Damn, this is Brooks' article right here. The one change that worked. I swapped single parent holiday hell for pet sitting heaven. Got rid of the kids to pick up animals. I mean, okay. Anyhow, not what I was going to point out. You guys there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Brendan, you there? I mean, it's more fun when there's more people. Anyhow, this is really weird to me. This is sponsored, unlike other news items that I get that are just random news items. 10 things kids should know how to do by age 10 according to child development experts. How many of these skills does your tween have? Stuff like that. Should send that over to our dear friends who have kids. But anyhow, unlike that, every once in a while you get something sponsored. So sponsored means it's an ad. 7 money hacks if you're barely scraping by financially, sponsored by the Penny Hoarder. And they show this. And if you really look closely, this guy is crying. He's got trails of tears. This is a photograph that I recognize. It is a photograph from a school shooting. How do they get away with using a photograph from a school shooting? Is that because it's like open property or something? Because it was a school shooting and nobody made a claim on it? But they use it for like 7 hacks if you're barely scraping by financially. I always thought that was so weird. If anybody's got any.
They might not even know. They might have just did an image search and then just grabbed the first thing that looked right. Didn't even read the caption.
There you go. Anyhow, so that's funny as hell. And all such being said, okay, well, love you dearly, Aristides. Have yourself a blessed night. Get yourself some well-earned rest. We'll catch up soon enough. And to everybody
Thank
listening,
you.
Yeah, we'll all be back.
All right. Let's get the PayPal link in the to the chat. Give me just a second.
Yes. Yeah. Take your time.
I was fighting a little battle on my computer because sometimes you go to a site and then it says it wants to allow notifications, and like I must have accidentally clicked yes, and like all this crap. All I have to do is like turn off the like they want to send you like pop-ups. You know what I mean? Like these sites want to send you pop-ups.
Well,
so you but you should say no. I don't want notifications. It means like pop-up ads.
Well, when I had my other Hewlett-Packard computer, I said yes to a lot of those because I wanted to be kept up on all kinds of affairs.
Not legitimate ones. Some spam sites want to just use that to send you junk.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was amazing I didn't get more of that, but what I got was, how would I say it, overwhelming enough. It was one of those things where people could hear it. People could hear the notifications pop up all the time when I had the Hewlett-Packard computer. Now that we're on the Aristides computer, I no longer am saying yes to those. So people don't hear that anymore as often. Certainly, very rarely do they hear a notification pop up. Bing, the pong or whatever. And so, I'm grateful for that.
Okay.
And grateful
All right, I think I fixed it. I just had this,
yes.
turn off notification for some.
Yes.
I don't know, a couple of clicks and you get to some really junky fucking websites. And then they're like,
no, it's incredible. No, it's amazing the vast amount of crap that's out there. And thank you, Aristides. Love you dearly. Thank you for getting the link up. And yes, everyone,
right.
please contribute.
Yeah, is it in there? I got it in there.
You got it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
You got it in there. And if anyone, is desperate for me to continue, speak now or forever hold your peace. That's fine till Sunday. And we'll be back Sunday and we'll go at it great guns again. But at least you got educated about a number of things. Doom prepping, multi-billionaires, National Guard, and other things that you should be aware of in a more immediate sense. And okay, all such being said, again, kisses to the ladies, hugs to the gentlemen. God bless you, Aristides. God bless you, Brendan Zuggan. And we'll all be back. We'll all be back on Sunday night, and we'll go just balls to the wall, great guns, starting from pretty much the beginning, and just get right into it. Okay.
All right, you get some rest there, recover.
I'll do that. You too. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Bye. Okay, we're gonna end stream. Triple redundancy process, and